Zhao Chen took less than 10 minutes to destroy all 10 of the mechanical starships. Seeing this, Shen Bing and the crew on the bridge were stunned, completely amazed. Report: the second group of mechanical starships has been destroyed. T2 Queen Bee used 67% of its ammunition and supplies. Over 30% of the star drones were lost. The star shield energy remains at 41%. The ship itself is undamaged. Lily, the secretary, quickly reported the fleet's status. After updating about the T2 Queen Bee, she then showed the status of 5 T2 Black Rhinos. Zhao Chen glanced at them. After 2 battles, all 5 T2 Black Rhinos were slightly damaged, but not seriously affected. The most damaged one had its armor compromised by only 37%, with the worst spot just over 50%. Since the starships used the least resources in battle, each T2 Black Rhino still had over 70% of its ammunition and supplies. They could easily handle the remaining group of mechanical starships. It looks like we are sure to win this fight, Zhao Chen sighed in relief. Hey, little brother. Once you've finished with your sweetheart, don't forget about me. I've already lost 2 starships and can't hold out much longer. The mechanical starships are threatening our fleet now. The voice of the smoking uncle sounded at this moment. On the video call, the smoking uncle, who had been rude before, now acted like an old friend of Zhao Chen. Very familiar. Uncle, I haven't forgotten about you, Zhao Chen replied with a smile. Though the uncle had a bad temper, he was a good person. At least in this battle, he was responsible and did his part. The woman in a leather jacket who had tried to get close to Zhao Chen earlier ran away at the start of the fight. The smoking uncle chuckled foolishly and gave Zhao Chen a thumbs up. Uncle was wrong before. You're amazing. When I get back, I'll treat you to a drink. Zhao Chen smiled without speaking and began to check the current battlefield situation. The main focus was on the starship icons on the data panel. Out of 30 T2 mechanical interstellar warships, more than 2/3 had dimmed, indicating they had been destroyed. 2 ships from Uncle's fleet also turned black. The remaining ships were red, showing the extent and location of damage. Intact starships were marked with blue icons. Apart from Zhao Chen's T2 Queen Bee, almost no starships remained undamaged. All 20 of the mechanical interstellar warships were destroyed by Zhao Chen's fleet. Uncle's fleet also heavily damaged 1 T2 mechanical guard-class medium interstellar and 1 T2 mechanical dog-class medium interstellar destroyer. At the same time, Uncle's fleet lost 2 T1 starships, and 2 T1 starships were heavily damaged, along with a T2 Grey Wolf-class light interstellar cruiser. It can be said that Uncle's fleet suffered significant losses in this battle. Some of the mechanical interstellar warships also broke through Uncle's fleet's blockade and directly attacked the interstellar transport fleet. Currently, 12 T1 interstellar transport ships have been destroyed. This also caused some changes in Zhao Chen's mission data. Extra mission: try to preserve as many T1 interstellar transport ships as possible. 288/300. Support Uncle's side of the battlefield and end this battle as soon as possible. Zhao Chen issued the command for the 3rd phase of this campaign. The supply drone swarm was launched again, ready to join another fight. They aimed to eliminate the remaining 10 mechanical interstellar warships. Destroying this mechanical fleet was much easier than the previous wave, as many of the ships were heavily damaged and couldn't withstand the from T2 Black Rhinoceros and the interstellar drones. In just a short while, only 7 of the 10 mechanical ships remained. But at this moment, Zhao Chen's T2 Queen Bee starship radar showed a red marker larger than before. Report: detected energy signal from a T3 starship. It is heading toward us. At current speed, it will enter the threat range in 5 minutes. Zhao Chen's heart sank. This is a T3 starship from the mechanical race. The appearance of the T3 interstellar battleship from the mechanical race broke all of Zhao Chen's plans. Brother, the smoking uncle also looked nervous as he sent a message. Uncle, you keep handling your side. I'll take care of the T3 battleship, Zhao Chen said firmly. The smoking uncle thought for a moment and nodded. All right, I leave it to you. He didn't ask Zhao Chen for help on his battlefield. Compared to his remaining 7 mechanical starships, half of which were already damaged and less effective in battle, the threat from the T3 battleship was clearly much greater. He could still delay a little longer on his side. Boss, this T3 interstellar battleship. That noble young master. Can he handle it? The deputy asked cautiously. The smoking uncle took a deep drag on his cigarette and exhaled a cloud of smoke. Report, the database has identified the model of that T3 battleship. It's a T3 Black Iron-class medium-sized interstellar destroyer from the mechanical race, his subordinate reported. T3 Black Iron. Although it's just an interstellar destroyer, it's still a T3 battleship, the smoking uncle said seriously. On the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship bridge, Zhaochen also received enemy data. T3 Black Iron is a T3 series starship from the mechanical race, the most common type of T3 starship. It's 700 meters long, equipped with a T3 medium pulse laser cannon as its main weapon. Its speed is moderate, and its armor isn't as strong as the T2 Black Rhinoceros, but it has a star shield, Zhaochen said with a serious expression. Looking at the cards in Zhaochen's hand, 1 T2 Queen Bee and 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros. 6 T2 starships against 1 T3 starship. Although there have been rare cases in starship combat history where T2 starships destroyed T3 starships, these were usually unlikely or happened in large-scale battles where they took advantage of the chaos. Normally, not even 10 or 20 T2 starships could match a T3 starship. There's no escape, only to try, Zhaochen thought to himself. It was a crazy, risky idea. However, with no other options, Zhaochen ordered Lilith to pass on their battle plan. The captains of the 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships received the orders and began their battle formations. To deal with the T3 starship, we must fight quickly. If we drag this out, our T2 ships will be destroyed one by one, Zhaochen said firmly. Report, the enemy's T3 Black Iron has entered the threat range. In 2 minutes, it will be within firing range and can attack my T2 Queen Bee. An officer reported. Move out, Zhaochen commanded. The 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships immediately set off. The armor of the T2 Black Rhinoceros is very strong, but if faced with the main guns of a T3 starship, it won't last long, Xin Bing said, watching the battlefield from behind. She saw the 5 T2 ships attack and looked serious. Zhaochen's fight directly affected their survival. Can we really not win? Lu Lili asked worriedly. Xin Bing closed her eyes and started to think about battle plans. This one won't work. That one still won't work. What should we do? How can we win? Is it really impossible for a T2 starship to fight a T3 starship? Suddenly, Xin Bing had a crazy idea. She quickly sent a message with her plan to Zhaochen. He replied quickly. Xin Bing was surprised. His response seemed so casual. Look, the 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships are forming a strange line formation, Lu Lili suddenly said. Xin Bing looked at the screen. The 5 T2 ships were moving toward the T3 Black Iron medium-sized starship, forming a 5-star battle formation. At that moment, the T3 Black Iron fired its medium pulse laser cannon, shooting out a pulse laser beam. Laser weapons mainly come in 2 types, focused laser and pulse laser. Besides these, there are some smaller categories. Pulse lasers charge briefly and then fire a laser beam at the enemy. They have short range, moderate damage, but fire quickly with short intervals. Focusing laser weapons need to store energy for a long time before firing a concentrated beam at the enemy ship. They have a long range, high damage, but fire slowly with longer intervals between shots compared to pulse lasers. The first type is more common and is mainly installed on interstellar ships, destroyers, and cruisers. The second type is more powerful and is mainly mounted on interstellar battleships and battlecruisers, targeting the strongest ships in the enemy fleet, such as flagships and core ships. These weapons are very effective against energy shields, as they can break through them easily. Although the T3 Black Iron is equipped with pulse laser main guns, it is still a T3 level ship. At this moment, a pulse laser hit the frontline ship, the T2 Black Rhinoceros. The T2 Black Rhinoceros is a heavy ship, ship number 1, with a command bridge. Report. The front armor of the ship has been damaged by 50%. Report. The left side front armor has been damaged by 65%. Report. 3 closed defense guns are destroyed. The captain of ship number 1 watched as they survived this attack wave. She took a deep breath and ordered, "Move aside." The T2 Black Rhinoceros moved out of the way and retreated to the back of the line of 5 starships. Then, the second T2 Black Rhinoceros took the front position. He thought to himself, he actually thought of that. Thought of what? Lu Lili asked curiously. Shin Bing replied seriously. Earlier, I mentioned that although the armor of the T2 Black Rhinoceros is strong, it might not withstand several attacks from a T3 Black Iron medium-sized interstellar destroyer. But if 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships form a line, keeping only one at the front to block the T3 Black Iron's attacks, maybe, with the coordinated effort of the 5 T2 ships, they could get close enough to the T3 Black Iron. Although the T3 Black Iron has a star shield, it only protects in one direction and not the entire area. As long as the 5 T2 ships attack from different directions, even the star shield can't defend against all of them. I wanted to share this idea with Zhao Chen earlier, but it seems he thought of this crazy tactic before I did, and he even started to use it. Thinking of this, Shin Bing was even more amazed by her former classmate, who used to be a bookworm. It should be said that he has changed a lot, or perhaps he has been hiding his true abilities deep within the academy for 3 years. Does that mean we have hope? Lu Lili asked happily. However, Shin Bing said in a serious tone, there is a problem with this plan. What is it? Lu Lili blinked and asked. The firepower is not enough. The T2 Black Rhinoceros has very weak firepower. If we rely on its ramming tactics, it might work against T2 class starships. But for T3 class starships, how long would it take to damage the armor of that T3 Black Iron medium-sized interstellar destroyer? In the meantime, the T2 Black Rhinoceros might be wiped out by the T3 Black Iron. Shin Bing clenched her fists. So, what should we do? Lu Lili was panicking again. Shin Bing stared at the video screen, waiting for Zhao Chen's plan. Since Zhao Chen dared to do this, he must have a backup plan. T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. Report, 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships have reached the effective range of short range. Although all 5 ships have sustained varying degrees of damage, it does not affect their overall combat ability, Lilith reported. Execute the second phase of the battle plan. Zhao Chun ordered firmly. Understood, Commander. Executing the second phase of the battle plan, Lilith relayed Zhao Chen's orders. On the battlefield, the 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships almost started accelerating at the same time. Despite their hulls being heavily scarred, and even having cracks nearly 10 meters long, their speed was unaffected. The 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships began to form a semi-enclosing formation to attack the T3 Black Iron. Each ship was equipped with 50 T2, level 300mm caliber heavy close defense guns, which began firing in unison. Normally, a standard T2 starship might have been torn apart by such firepower. But unfortunately, this was a T3 class starship. The star shield deployed, blocking attacks from one direction. The other direction's attacks hit the hull armor of the T3 Black Iron, causing rain-like pockmarks. Although numerous, the damage was not very serious. Prepare to ram the ship. The captain of T2 Black Rhinoceros No. 1 was the first to give the order. Once again, the speed increased, and the Blackhorn collided heavily with the armor of the T3 Black Iron ship. However, the piercing wound seen on the T2 starship did not appear. It was only a small scratch. This shows that the armor of the T3 starship is on a completely different level from that of the T2 starship. Other T2 Black Rhinos also began to attack. At the same time, the T3 Black Iron secondary guns started to retaliate. The recharged pulse laser main guns aimed at the close-range enemy ships. One of the T2 Black Rhino's front armor was hit so hard that a large hole was created. Fortunately, the armor of the T2 Black Rhino was strong enough. Otherwise, it might have been more than just a big hole. But under these conditions, it couldn't withstand many more shots. The lack of firepower has been exposed. Shin Bing bit her lip nervously, feeling worried again. Faced with this situation, Commander Zhao Chun remained calm. Activate the third phase of the battle plan, Zhao Chun ordered. Understood. Initiating the third phase of the battle plan, Lilith began to relay the command. As the command was issued, an astonishing scene unfolded. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos that were ramming the ships suddenly opened several compartments on their bellies, and small objects were launched out. It's interstellar drones. Shin Bing recognized these small objects immediately. They were the interstellar drones of the T2 Queen Bee. There were over 50 T2 Killer Bee-class medium interstellar drones, and 15 T-2 Hornet-class heavy interstellar drones. The 5 T-2 Black Rhinos, which had been ramming the ships, stopped their attack and instead used their close-in weapons to block the fire of the T-3 Iron-class medium starship destroyer. Under the cover of the T-2 Black Rhino's firepower, the T-2 Hornet-class heavy drones targeted the largest damaged area of the ship, which had been torn open by the Black Rhinos, and dropped their bombs. If there were human crew members inside the T-3 Black Iron, they would have heard the rumbling sounds of their ship, like explosions. After a barrage from the T-2 Hornet-class heavy drones, the previously small damaged area was suddenly expanded dozens of times. Then, an even more astonishing scene appeared. The T-2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones began to dive downward one by one, crashing at incredible speed into the torn and damaged parts of the ship's armor. Flames exploded and vanished in an instant. These interstellar drones are carrying explosives. Seeing the bright explosion, Shen Bing quickly realized that these drones were loaded with bombs. With the bombs combined with the ship's own explosions, the power increased even more. 10 ships, 20 ships, 30 ships, 40 ships. Someone might notice that the weapon system on one side of the T-3 Black Iron ship has stopped firing, indicating a malfunction in its weapon module. At this moment, the interstellar drone's suicidal attacks had not yet ceased. After the T-2 Killer B-class medium drone finished its self-destructive attack, the T-2 Big Yellow Hornet-class heavy drone also dove down, becoming part of the fiery explosion. Lu Lily covered her mouth in surprise. This is Zhao Chen's plan. Since the T-2 Black Rhinoceros doesn't have enough firepower, we hide the drones inside the compartments of the T-2 Black Rhinoceros-class heavy ship beforehand. Then, the T-2 Black Rhinoceros carries them close to the T-3 Black Iron, launching bombing runs and subsequent suicide attacks. Shen Bing's eyes sparkled with excitement. The fiery explosions and smoke cleared away. The armor on one side of the T-3 Black Iron ship was torn open, revealing the cross-section of the interior hatch. From a distance, the damaged part looked like a piece had been cut from a large black fish, exposing the bones inside. At this moment, the fate of the T-3 Black Iron was clear. Facing the upcoming attack from the T-2 Black Rhinoceros, it would ultimately fall with regret. It probably didn't expect that its proud T-3 starship would be overwhelmed and destroyed by a group of T-2 starships. Afterward, the regrouped T-2 Black Rhinoceros, along with the fleet of the old captain, carried out a final cleanup of the remaining mechanical starships. This battle lasted nearly an hour and finally ended. Zhao Chen sat in the captain's chair and took a deep breath. Lilith, report the damage. Then arrange for the T-2 Black Rhinoceros to patrol around. For now, we can only wait here for reinforcements, Zhao Chen ordered. Mission details: protect the interstellar transport fleet difficulty level. B reward: 20 mission points and 5,000 credits extra task. Save as many T-1 interstellar transport ships as possible. 279/300. Mission completed. Rewards can be claimed. Zhao Chen's system notified him that the mission was finished. Since he had nothing else to do, he decided to claim the reward to relax. Reward claimed: 20 mission points and 5,000 credits. Extra task: 279 interstellar transport ships preserved. Completion rate: 93%. Extra reward claimed: technical blueprints for the T-2 Lion King-class heavy interstellar missile ship. Zhao Chen suddenly sat up in surprise. Interstellar missile ship? The type of ship known as the interstellar arsenal ship. Interstellar missile ships are also called arsenal ships or firepower ships. They mainly attack with interstellar missiles, which are stored in large ammunition bays inside the ship. Because they resemble a powder keg, they are very dangerous if hit by enemy ships. In fleet battles, they need high protection, just like aircraft carriers or battleships. However, their short-term firepower output is unmatched by most other ship types. Interstellar missiles are long-range, highly accurate weapons with guided targeting. Unless intercepted or destroyed, or if the target starship leaves the maximum firing range, they are almost certain to hit. Most importantly, they can fire very quickly. Since they don't need to recharge or cool down, they only need the time to load a missile from the ammunition bay into the launcher. Usually, it takes less than 10 seconds to transfer a missile. Therefore, a missile ship can fire all its missiles in a very short time, creating a saturation attack on enemy fleets. This starship is great, but, Zhao Chen muttered to himself, the advantages are obvious, but so are the disadvantages. It's not that it's easily destroyed when hit, but it costs a lot of money. The few interstellar missile ships from the T1 and T2 series have already been phased out. The number of T3 series interstellar missile ships is also very small. The reason is that they are very expensive to build. Usually, a fully loaded interstellar missile ship can fire 3 to 5 rounds of saturation attacks. The cost of the missiles launched during these attacks is roughly equal to the price of a standard starship of the same level. And these 3 to 5 rounds of attacks only take about 10 minutes in total, not counting the time needed to replenish the missiles. In just 10 minutes, the resources used to build one starship are spent. Even the Empire's military finds it hard to afford such high ammunition costs. Compared to that, ordinary starships might offer better value for money. So, interstellar missile ships have become quite rare. According to Zhao Chun, the Shine Empire still only has one type of interstellar missile ship in service, and the number is very small. Let's look at the detailed data first, Zhao Chun thought as he began to analyze the technical blueprints. T2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship type. Interstellar missile ship technology level. T2 hull armor strength. 130 to 150 units cruising speed. 25 star speeds warp drive. Level 4 warp engine length. 258 meters mass. 150,000 tons crew. 50 people starship weapons. 50 missile launchers with 500 T2 Lion King class missiles. The specifications of this T2 Lion King are quite standard. However, Zhao Chen learned that the 500 missiles it carries are more than double the maximum load of the now-retired T2 missile ships. It truly is a mobile firepower platform. The attack power of a T2 Lion King missile is comparable to the main guns of a T2 battlecruiser. Imagine 500 T2 Lion King missiles all attacking the enemy fleet at once. That would be a spectacular scene. But when Zhao Chen calculated the cost, a string of zeros appeared in his mind. The price of one T2 Lion King is not expensive, only 5 million star coins, the same as a T2 Queen class heavy carrier. This price includes the initial batch of 500 T2 Lion King missiles. The cost of these 500 T2 Lion King class interstellar missiles is 1,000 star coins each. This means that if a T2 Lion King uses up all its missiles, it has spent nearly 50,000 star coins worth of supplies. 3 rounds of firepower are enough to deplete a single T2 Lion King. Zhao Chen covers his face, thinking, what kind of starship is this? It's clearly a money-consuming beast. He begins to understand why the Starshine Empire can't afford to produce these ships in large numbers. Remember, Zhao Chen's calculations only consider the manufacturing cost. If we look at the selling price, the number would be many times higher. However, based on performance, my T2 Lion King has a much better cost-performance ratio than any other T2 interstellar missile ship recorded. And I can't support a large fleet in a short time. So small, but well-equipped starships suit me better, Zhao Chun says with a thoughtful look. If he had even one T2 Lion King in the recent battle, defeating a T3 Black Iron-class medium starship would be easy. As for other T2 mechanical starships, they would just be easy targets. Without considering interception, about 10 to 20 T2 Lion King missiles could disable a T2 mechanical starship. Zhao Chun makes a firm decision. Even if it's a money-consuming beast, he will build it. As he develops more starship technology, the risk of exposure increases. For example, in this battle, Zhao Chun revealed a T2 carrier starship with star shield technology. He believes this information will soon reach some interested parties. Before that happens, Zhao Chun must have enough self-protection power. The interstellar missile ship will become his trump card. Let's build a few right away. Pair them with T2 Black Rhinoceros class heavy ships. Shields and weapons. It's perfect. Zhao Chun is very excited. He can't wait to deploy this fleet for real combat. While Zhao Chun is dreaming of these good times, Lilith reports to him that they have received a crew for the T2 Hound ship from Shinbing. There are 13 female crew members. They sustained minor injuries in the previous battle, but they have all been properly treated. Lilith's report. Shinbing's crew? I didn't know about this, Zhao Chen said in surprise as he looked at Lilith. Lilith looked at the commander with confusion. I just reported to you earlier. And you said, okay, directly. I thought you agreed. Shinbing's T2 Hound was badly damaged, and the starship's engine also had problems. It seems difficult to fly back on its own, so they can only wait for the interstellar repair ship or rely on other starships to transport it. Zhao Chun was stunned. It seemed he was so focused on the T2 Lion King that he didn't hear Lilith clearly. Since that's the case, let's first settle them on our starship. Oh, and all the crew members are women? Are there no men on Shunbing's starship? Zhao Chen asked instinctively. Lilith casually replied. The male crew members are all assigned to Zheng Xiong's starship. Zheng Xiong is that smoking uncle. And why was it arranged this way? Lilith dislikes all men except Zhao Chen. On the other side of the video window, Uncle Zheng Xiong was enthusiastically hugging a young male crew member from Shinbing's team. Little brother, don't worry. We will warmly host these crew members. Behind the video window, several male crew members from Shinbing's team could be seen standing together, surrounded by Zheng Xiong's male crew members. The atmosphere between them felt like wolves and lambs, completely mismatched. The male crew member being hugged by Uncle Zheng Xiong looked confused, but dared not move. Thanks, Captain Zheng Xiong, Shinbing said gratefully. No need to thank me. You two are like family to me, brothers in arms. Zheng Xiong said with a big laugh. The young couple? Shinbing's cheeks reddened as she tried to explain. She looked a bit shy standing next to Zhao Chun. Since she and her female crew members were brought onto this carrier starship, she was invited to the bridge of Zhao Chen's ship. Looking at this bright, clean, and high-tech bridge, she found it hard to believe this was a T2 starship bridge. It was like comparing a single room to a presidential suite. According to the fleet commander of the interstellar transport ships, we will wait here for 20 hours until reinforcements arrive before setting off. To prevent further accidents on the road, Zhao Chen looked at Shinbing. Shinbing, at this moment, was gazing absent-mindedly through the bridge view of Zhao Chen's ship, staring at her battered T2 Hyena. Zhao Chen could guess what Shinbing was thinking. It seemed that the T2 Hyena was badly damaged. Without a repair cost of several tens of thousands of star coins, it couldn't be fixed. After completing this mission, Shinbing would receive a large reward. But if she used the money to treat her grandmother's illness, there would be no funds left to repair the T2 Hyena. Perhaps sensing Zhao Chen's noticing her strange expression, Shinbing looked at him and said calmly, "Thanks to you this time. Otherwise all our starships would have been lost here." Actually, a big part of the reason was luck. The T3 Black Iron-class medium interstellar destroyer of the mechanical race didn't join the fight at first, which gave us a big chance. Maybe they thought that the 30 T2 interstellar warships were enough to handle us, and the T3 destroyer only needed to hunt from outside. Who would have thought they would end up losing their footing? Zhao Chun said with a light laugh. Shinbing nodded. That was part of the reason. By the way, these mechanical race starships are really fearless, just like in the textbooks of the Academy. They fight to the end, giving their all. If it were our fleet, even a professional fleet like the Empire's, losing more than 50% of its ships could shake its confidence. Losing over 70% might lead to retreat or even surrender, Shinbing admired. Zhao Chen nodded, staring at the wreckage of those T2 mechanical race starships in the view, and said in a deep voice, "That's the terrifying part of intelligent mechanical life. For their programmed ideas, they will go to any lengths to carry out their battle orders." This might be why the Galactic Alliance issued a complete ban on all research related to advanced artificial intelligence technology after contact with the mechanical race. They strictly control any AI-related technology fields. They're worried that the conflict with the mechanical race might happen again within our Galaxy Alliance. Shinbing nodded. This was knowledge taught in the Academy. If it weren't for this restriction, the personnel on interstellar warships could be even fewer. A T2 starship can be operated by just a few people working with some intelligent robots or programs. I have to admit, artificial intelligence is much more efficient than humans and other space races. So far, only mid-level AI programs and related equipment are allowed in military use, while civilians can only have low-level AI and devices. This is all because of the lessons learned from the mechanical race. All right, let's not talk about such heavy topics. Since we're all waiting for the Empire fleet to arrive, let's go to our dining hall first. In the past few days, your crew members have been eating the same meals as my crew. No need to thank me. Consider it my treat, Zhao Chen said. Before, Zhao Chen admired Shen Bing even more after seeing her brave actions commanding the starship. If it weren't for Shen Bing's bravery, the interstellar transport fleet might have suffered more losses, and fewer ships would have survived, probably less than 90%. Back then, the extra rewards from the system might not have been for a T-2 Lion King-class heavy starship missile cruiser. Of course, Zhao Chen had a little secret plan. Sorry to bother you, Shen Bing said gratefully. Then, Zhao Chen and Shen Bing, along with a dozen female crew members under Shen Bing's command, headed to the starship's dining hall. Shen Bing's female crew members looked around at the interior, which was completely different from their usual starship environment. It was spacious, clean, and beautiful. It was a stark contrast to their dull work environment. When they entered the starship's dining hall, everyone was stunned. The smell of food filled the air, completely different from artificial nutrient meals. At this time, some crew members of the T-2 Queen Bee-class heavy carrier starship had come to eat during their rest. There was fried rice, noodles, bread, steamed buns, and even a large plate of fish and some fruit. Have I somehow arrived at a fancy college cafeteria? Lu Lily wiped the saliva from her mouth. Shen Bing also looked surprised. That's our dining area. You can order your meals there, and service robots will deliver the food to your table. You can order the same meals as our regular crew, as long as you don't waste food. You can choose to eat separately or together, Zhao Chen explained nearby, also granting everyone permission to order food, just like the standard for ordinary female soldiers. The shared meal system means everyone orders their own food, such as a bowl of noodles or a serving of fried rice. The communal system is used when several crew members want to order a main dish together, but one person's order might be too large or they might not finish it. In such cases, a few female soldiers will order a main dish to share and eat together. Can we order here? Lu Lily swallowed nervously, looking at Zhao Chen with disbelief. Zhao Chen smiled and said, "Of course." After a brief silence, Lu Lily and a group of female crew members rushed over, crowding in front of the holographic menu. Shen Bing was also looking at the food. To her, she saw not just food but the value behind it. The fried rice was marked as costing 0.1 star coins. But outside, the price would definitely be over 30 star coins, or even more. The prices at the starship's restaurant were just the cost price, not including profit. She found it hard to believe that the crew on Zhao Chen's starship could actually eat such expensive food. Can you move aside? I can't see. Today's menu. A shy voice came from behind Shen Bing. Shen Bing turned around and looked behind her. When she looked down, she saw who was speaking. It was a small girl, only as tall as her waist, with a round face and big eyes, so adorable, especially because she was short and kept tiptoeing to see the menu, making her look even more cute and lovable. But she also had a mark around her neck from a collar she had been wearing for a long time. On your starship, besides female half-beasts, there are also underage girls. Shen Bing looked suspiciously at Zhao Chen beside her. It was as if she was looking at a suspicious, strange uncle. Cough, cough, she's a dwarf. Not underage, she's actually older than us. But dwarves tend to have a childish mental age naturally, and because of their small and delicate appearance, they look like children, Zhao Chen explained. Shen Bing carefully observed the little girl in front of her. Her ears were slightly pointed, and her head was a bit larger compared to her body. This matched the description of the dwarf race in the interstellar universe. Commander, sir. Annie only then realized Zhao Chen was nearby and immediately saluted him. She first tried to imitate the female crew member from the fighter's ship, placing her hand over her chest. But it didn't feel quite right, so she bowed to Zhao Chen instead. Her nervous, clumsy movements made Zhao Chen find her quite adorable. Can't see? Let me help you, Zhao Chen said, placing his hands under Annie's arms and easily lifting her up. Annie's cheeks turned slightly red as she kept saying, "No, it's okay. Annie, when fewer people are here, I can do it then. Since you've already seen, just go ahead and order," Zhao Chen smiled. Annie looked at the holographic menu on the table and quickly ordered a yellow braised chicken set meal. At that moment, Zhao Chen put her down. Thank you, Commander." "Sir." Annie kept bowing in gratitude, her head bobbing like a drum. After Zhao Chun told Annie to find a seat and wait for her food, she left. Probably her head would have been wobbling too much otherwise. Annie found a corner seat, then skillfully adjusted the chair to its lowest height. After sitting down, she raised the seat to a comfortable height for the table. She started swinging her short legs, waiting for her favorite part of the day. Xin Bing and Zhao Chun watched this little girl for a while before they came back to their senses. They exchanged a glance, understanding each other silently. "How did you find this little person?" "I noticed something on her neck," Xin Bing asked. "I bought her from the trade network in the northern sector of Star System 3. She was the woman who escaped, kidnapped from a planet and sold," Zhao Chun explained. Xin Bing looked at Zhao Chun, then at the luxurious daily menu. "Why do you set such high standards for the meals? Even if you buy natural ingredients in bulk at low prices and prepare them yourself, the monthly consumption for just the crew on this starship costs over 1,000 star coins. That's far beyond 99% of starship meal standards." Zhao Chun shrugged casually. "I just want to give my crew better living conditions. That way, they can fight harder for me." Xin Bing looked surprised. He wondered if Zhao Chun really didn't care about the costs. His way of thinking really doesn't fit in this era. "All right, let's go over there and wait for our food," Zhao Chun said, inviting Xin Bing to a table. "After you graduate from the North Star Starship Military Academy, what are your plans? Will you join the Empire's military?" Zhao Chun asked casually. Most graduates from Starship military academies tend to join the Empire's military to gain experience, and after retiring, they often join local Lord fleets. This usually means a comfortable social class where you don't have to worry about food or clothing, but becoming wealthy depends on luck. "I will never join the Empire's military," Xin Bing said. Zhao Chun was a bit surprised, but quickly guessed the reason. "Is it because of your parents?" Xin Bing stayed silent. "Would you be willing to talk about your parents?" Zhao Chun asked cautiously. Xin Bing remained quiet. Seeing this, Zhao Chun didn't press further. "Since you don't want to join the Empire's military, have you considered joining my fleet? Are you inviting me?" Xin Bing looked at Zhao Chun in surprise. Zhao Chun spread his hands and smiled. "As you can see, my fleet is strong and well-treated. If you're interested, you can start as a deputy captain, starship officer, or secretary. The crew members on your starship, if qualified, can also join my fleet and enjoy the same benefits. Of course, this is only for female crew members. Don't ask why." Xin Bing chuckled softly and shook her head. "If you want to recruit them, you don't need to ask me. Just talk to them directly. Most of them will probably follow you." She then looked at the table where her female crew members were eating. The food had just been served. Each of them looked like they hadn't eaten in decades, and they were eating eagerly without caring about their image. "I'm interested in your value," Zhao Chun said, pointing at Xin Bing. Xin Bing stayed silent. "I'll give you some time to think about it, but not too long," Zhao Chun said. He valued Xin Bing as a talent, but if she didn't want to join, he wouldn't force her. After all, he would only stay at the North Star Starship Military Academy until the end of this year. The food was brought out, and Xin Bing received a plate of dumplings. She picked up a dumpling, looked at its translucent appearance, and her expression was complicated. She remembered her grandmother mentioning a type of food, dumplings. Her grandmother had only eaten 3 dumplings once when she was young, but that was a flavor her grandmother would never forget in her life. She and her sister sat by their grandmother's sickbed, listening as she told these stories. Her sister vowed that she would make sure their grandmother and sister could taste that flavor again. If she joined Zhao Chun's dragon fleet, maybe her grandmother and sister could enjoy that delicious food once more. Xin Bing's heart wavered. She chewed the dumplings in her mouth, the taste exciting her taste buds. She had never eaten anything so delicious. Unknowingly, she finished half a bowl of dumplings. She looked up at the person opposite her. Zhao Chun had already left without her noticing. He was looking at the other female crew members, some savoring the taste of the food, others with red eyes, seeming to have cried. Xin Bing thought quietly. Zhao Chun returned to the command bridge. "Commander, the battle report for this campaign is ready," Lilith said, standing beside him. "Tell me," Zhao Chun ordered. The T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship used 93% of its ammunition and supplies. The loss of interstellar drones reached 68%. All T2 Killer B-class medium drones and T2 Big Hornet-class heavy drones were destroyed, leaving only T2 Worker B-class light drones. Additionally, 5 T-2 Black Rhinoceros-class heavy ships, one with serious armor damage, need to return to port for repairs. The remaining 4 ships are only slightly damaged and should be able to return without repairs. They can be repaired on our T-2 Hammer-class heavy industrial ships, which will greatly reduce costs. No personnel were killed, though a few were injured but have been taken care of. We also destroyed 1 T-3 mechanical starship and 27 T-2 mechanical starships, Lilith reported. Zhao Chen looked at the data, then at the fleet of interstellar transport ships he was protecting. A cold glint appeared in his eyes. This mission really surprised me. We need an explanation. Lilith understood what the commander meant. There was a problem with this mission. 20 hours later, a fleet of 30 Imperial starships arrived at the location where the interstellar transport fleet had sent a distress signal. Where are the mechanical starship interstellar warships mentioned in the rescue message? In the video window, an Imperial military officer with the rank of colonel frowned and asked. Those are the wreckage of the starships outside, Zhao Chun replied coldly. Did you destroy them? The colonel asked in surprise. Not us. Could it be your Imperial forces? Zhao Chen retorted. The colonel sensed hostility in Zhao Chen's words and asked, What do you mean? I want to ask you the same. This was clearly a convoy mission. Why were those mechanical starships attacking us? And why did they use warp interceptors? Sir, this is not just a simple mission, Zhao Chen said, staring at the other. Meanwhile, Uncle Zheng Xiong, on the video call, looked displeased and said, Hiding mission details is against the rules of issuing assignments. The attack by the mechanical starship fleet was just a coincidence. Such coincidences happen often in bounty missions. Besides the normal reward, the starship wreckage you destroyed will be bought back at the highest market price, and according to Imperial law, you will receive a bonus for destroying the mechanical starships, the colonel said calmly. Coincidence? Then tell me, why are the cargo holds of those star transport ships empty? Zhao Chen directly showed several photos he took. The images showed the wreckage of a destroyed T-1 star transport ship. Some cargo holds appeared empty, with no signs of any supplies or debris. The colonel's eyes flashed with coldness. Sir, we're not fools. Since we're here openly talking, we have backup. We've already backed up the data about what happened here. If we don't return safely, this will be exposed. The reputation of the Imperial military will suffer greatly. Is this a burden you, as an Imperial colonel, can bear? Uncle Zheng Xiong pounded the table and said, I fought bravely with my fleet here. So, this must be a trap, sending us to a starship fleet with no supplies. If it weren't for our brave fight, we might have been wiped out long ago. My fleet also sacrificed 3 T-1 starships and over 100 brave brothers. We want an explanation. Isn't that reasonable? Experienced Zheng Xiong had already argued with Zhao Chen before this. For this strange Imperial bounty mission, they can't just swallow their anger quietly. But facing the Imperial army, they need to be prepared. After a moment of silence, the colonel looked at both of them and said in a serious voice, I don't have the authority to handle this. We will give you a satisfactory answer when we reach the Sandflow City starbase. Destroying these mercenary fleets is not difficult for an Imperial fleet, but the real trouble is the mess afterward. If this damages the reputation of the Imperial army, it would be a big loss. All right, I want to see what kind of reasonable explanation your Imperial army can give us, Zheng Xiong said angrily, ending the communication. Zhao Chun replied coldly, we also want to give our crew a proper explanation. You are a captain and commander, so you should understand this. After speaking, Zhao Chen also ended the call. The colonel wasn't angry at their aggressive attitude, which was actually expected. This mission was not simple. The fact that these fleets survived an attack by a mechanical race fleet was surprising. Among the destroyed mechanical fleet, there was even a T-3 Black Iron-class medium starship. Contact the leader of the interstellar transport fleet and ask for all the video recordings of this battle. After 3 hours, we will clean up the battlefield and then the transport fleet back to Sandflow City. The colonel instructed his subordinates. Do you think the Imperial officers won't do anything to us after our attitude just now? Shen Bing looked worriedly at Zhao Chun and Zheng Xiong on the video screen. Zheng Xiong took a puff of his cigarette and said, Shen Bing, don't worry about that. The Imperial army cares about face. This mission was clearly not fair to them. Although I don't know what they are planning, if we reveal this matter, it will greatly damage the reputation of the Empire's military. At that time, Which private fleet will still dare to accept missions from the Empire? Moreover, both of us are excellent students from the Northern Star Starship Military Academy. If the Academy gets involved, it won't be a small matter. Zhao Chun has already made plans in his mind. Brother Zhao Chun, how much do you think we should ask for this time? Uncle Zheng Xiong shows a sly smile. Zhao Chun thinks for a moment and holds up 5 fingers. That might be a bit much, but we can try. Uncle Zheng Xiong nods. After that, the Empire fleet begins to clean up the battlefield. They also find traces of another battle some distance away from the fighting zone. It is in the direction where the T-3 Black Iron-class medium starship was last seen. There are wrecks of several starships there. After checking, they confirm it was the fleet of the woman in leather who fled earlier. All the starships were destroyed. From the damage on the fleet's ships, it's clear they were heavily damaged and destroyed by the T-3 Black Iron-class medium starship. This news makes Zhao Chun and others feel relieved. People like that don't end well. After handling these matters, the Empire fleet escorts the Star Transport Fleet and Zhao Chun's fleet again, heading toward the Lusha City Star Fortress. This time, the journey goes smoothly. After 10 days of travel, they successfully arrive at the Lusha City Star Fortress. Looking at the fortress in front of them, it is a star military base built on a planet, with several small planets and moons around it converted into military outposts and satellites. Its size is not as large as the Northern 3-star system, and there are not many starships stationed there. But all are T-2 combat starships and T-3 combat starships. When Zhao Chun's fleet arrives, the military starport provides free basic repairs for Zhao Chun's fleet. Meanwhile, Zhao Chun's fleet's requests are also passed on to higher authorities by the colonel. That fleet actually survived and completely destroyed a fleet of the mechanical race. A general-like person is surprised when he hears the report. Then, he orders his subordinates to bring up information about this battle and details of the fleet. Can you believe the T-2 carrier starship actually has star shield technology? The general looked at the battle footage with shock. General, could you let me handle this matter? Also, please keep these images sealed so that no one who already knows about it can share it further, said a young man standing beside him, serving as the general's aide. The general looked at the young man in surprise. Xiaosong, this is a serious matter. A T-2 carrier starship with T-2 star shield technology. General, this person has connections to the Chu family. Please, I need your help, the young officer said humbly. The general squinted at the young officer. This person was recently assigned by the Chu family. He was a young brigadier general, and he had a good relationship with the Chu family. It seemed this T-2 carrier starship was connected to the Chu family. So, he decided to help the Chu family out. All right, I'll do as you say. I'm entrusting this matter to you, Xiaosong, the general said seriously. The young officer smiled and replied, Thank you, General. I will mention your brave performance here to Governor Chu He. Zhao Chun and others arrived at the Lusha City Star Fortress. Their starship was docked at the military port for only a few hours. Soon, someone came to deliver a message, saying the high officials of Lusha City wanted to meet them. As representatives of 3 fleets, Zhao Chun, Shen Bing, and Uncle Zheng Xiong took a hover car inside the military port to the meeting place. I didn't expect they would agree to meet us so quickly. I thought it would take at least 3 or 5 days, Uncle Zheng Xiong said, sitting back with his legs crossed. Shen Bing sat in a corner, clearly feeling a bit tense and nervous. Zhao Chun was very relaxed. He even joked with Uncle Zheng Xiong. Uncle, we're just going to meet them like this. Aren't you worried the Empire's military might just silence us? That would be the easiest way. Uncle Zheng Xiong rolled his eyes. Little brother, I've been in the starry skies for so many years. Do you think I wouldn't expect that? Actually, we're just asking for an explanation. That's all, he added. Then, Uncle Zheng Xiong rubbed his fingers together. Although it's not very respectful to the fallen comrades, isn't giving their families enough compensation the best thing we can do? On the side of the Imperial Army, as long as a problem can be solved with money, it's not really a problem. Compared to that, silencing us might cause this mission's scandal to be exposed, which is the least efficient way to handle the issue. The officers of the Imperial Army are not that foolish. Zhao Chun and Uncle Zheng Xiong exchanged smiles. But little brother, your starships are not ordinary. I think the Imperial Army will be very interested in them. Uncle Zheng Xiong suddenly looked serious and whispered to Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun nodded. I know. He was very clear that once the T-2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship's shield technology was exposed, it would attract attention from outside. I can guarantee that my fleet brothers won't leak the news for a short time, but there were also Imperial Star transport ships present at the scene. If they leak the information, many people will be interested in you. The smell of blood will attract some ruthless beasts, Uncle Zheng Xiong said in a deep voice. I will handle this matter well. Thank you for your concern, Uncle, Zhao Chun said gratefully. Spending time with this uncle, you'll find that he seems rough and straightforward, but he's also kind-hearted and very loyal. At that moment, the car stopped. The door opened, revealing a high-end restaurant entrance. Unexpectedly, the person greeting them at the door was not a soldier or officer. It was an officer wearing a gold star shoulder badge, smiling at Zhao Chun and the others. Wow, a one-star general. I've been in space for so many years, and this is the first time I've seen someone with a star, Uncle Zheng Xiong exclaimed. As he got out of the car, Uncle Zheng Xiong even tidied up his clothes, pretending to be serious. Little brother, this is a one-star general. When you speak later, be careful. Before Uncle Zheng Xiong finished his warning, Zhao Chun stepped forward first. Wow, this kid is even more reckless than me. Captain, long time no see, the general officer greeted Zhao Chun with a smile. You are that young. Zhao Chun looked at the familiar person in front of him. Just call me Xiao Song, the general officer said. At this moment, Uncle Zheng Xiong, if he had been smoking a cigarette, would probably have dropped it on the ground. A one-star colonel introduces himself as Xiao Song. Zhao Chun naturally wouldn't be so rude. Since he is introducing himself this way, you shouldn't really call him that. Colonel Song, how are you here? Aren't you with Miss Chu Xian? Zhao Chun asked curiously. Yes, the person in front of him, calling himself Xiao Song, is the same one-star colonel who followed Miss Chu Xian during the cosmic insect nest incident. Miss Chu was called back to her family by her father because of what happened before. She probably won't be able to come out for a while. Since she returned to her family, there's no need for me to stay with her. Her father arranged for me to work at the Interstellar Fortress in Sandflow City, Colonel Song explained. Don't underestimate this title. The person behind the father is the governor of the Chu River Star region, the marshal with 5 stars. I also happened to learn that the mission this time was led by Captain, so I volunteered to handle the reception. Please, everyone, follow me. Colonel Song invited Zhao Chun and the others to the upscale restaurant behind him. Although this is a military starport, even high-ranking officers need some leisure, so such places are natural. Zhao Chun walked beside Colonel Song, while Xin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong looked a bit reserved as they followed behind. Xin Bing watched Zhao Chun chatting casually with the one-star colonel as if they were friends. This surprised her even more. Her classmate, who only studied hard for 3 years at the academy, actually knew a one-star Imperial Army colonel. That colonel, after retiring, became a noble with a title. Plus, with the connections he built in the Imperial Army, his influence is definitely beyond what Zhao Chun, a struggling baron, can compare to. Yet, these two people with such different statuses were now talking and laughing together. Both of you, go ahead to the private room I reserved. Rest and dine there. Captain and I have some things to discuss. Colonel Song stopped and looked at Xin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong with a smile. Although he was smiling, it was clear that his expression was professional, very cold and distant. All right. You two chat. Don't worry about us. Uncle Zheng Xiong is eager to leave this colonel behind. If it weren't for handling previous missions, he would have already gone away. Following a colonel, he feels like he's accompanying a tiger. Xin Bing looks at Zhao Chun, her eyes asking for his opinion. Unknowingly, Zhao Chun has become her main support. Go ahead first. We will join you later, Zhao Chun says. Okay, Xin Bing nods. Xin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong walk down another corridor. Mr. Zhao Chun, this way, please. Colonel Song invites Zhao Chun to another corridor. After a turn, they arrive at a small private room. Inside, some tea snacks are already prepared. Although not as luxurious as those on Zhao Chun's starship, they are still quite nice for ordinary people. Please, Colonel Song invites Zhao Chun to sit down. Zhao Chun sits and looks at Colonel Song. Colonel Song, you specifically asked them to leave. Is there something important you want to talk to me about? There are 2 small matters. Colonel Song's smile remains the same. As he pours tea for Zhao Chun, he says, First, the reason why you and your companions came here. About the mission you are responsible for this time. Zhao Chen looks at Colonel Song, waiting for more. This mission isn't as simple as it seems, Colonel Song admits openly. Zhao Chen stares at him. All of this was arranged by you. Colonel Song nods and says, we are carrying out a military operation to take back some star systems controlled by the mechanical clan. To do this, we deliberately fake a fleet of 30 starships to lure the mechanical clan troops out. To make this bait seem real, we specifically launched a convoy mission, allowing the combat fleet to it. These 30 fleets, if each mechanical race ship sends out an interstellar fleet to intercept, would require at least 900 starships, equivalent to 3 standard troop-level interstellar fleets. Intentionally luring these mechanical starships to attack, causing shortages in their rear star systems. Our main fleet will then launch an attack. At this point, General Song looked at the time and said, they should still be fighting now. Are you sure the mechanical race will definitely take the bait? Zhao Chen asked with a frown. Because we sent out a message. Our empire's military will transport a batch of special weapons to a key military base on the front line, preparing for a large-scale operation. Once the mechanical race learns about this, they will try to intercept our star transport fleet. General Song took a sip of tea. Zhao Chen suddenly understood. So, our mission is actually a decoy. Yes. Although this seems unfair to those carrying out the mission, from a war perspective, we are sacrificing nearly 1,000 civilian starships that are not part of the Empire's military and 10,000 T-1 star transport ships that are about to be phased out to gain control of several important strategic star systems for the enemy. We also have a chance to destroy several Legion-level interstellar fleets of the mechanical race. Additionally, the mechanical fleets attacking our decoy are being intercepted by special Imperial fleets, and all of them will not return. General Song looked at Zhao Chen and said, emotionally, I deeply regret the sacrifice of your fleet and other fleets. But as an Imperial officer, this is a decision I must make. After hearing General Song's explanation, Zhao Chen finally understood clearly. They are just pawns used by the Empire's military. Sacrificing some unnecessary small pieces to gain an advantage in a local battle is a normal decision for leaders. Of course, for your surviving fleet, we will provide triple compensation and repair your damaged starships. If any starship is destroyed in battle, we can also arrange for you to receive a matching starship as compensation, Major General Song said directly, using a smooth approach. Zhao Chen shook his head slightly. 3 of my friend's fleet starships were destroyed, and over 100 comrades sacrificed. He leaned forward, placing his hand on the table, and looked directly at Major General Song. You need to pay more. Major General Song smiled and nodded. Then name your price. 10 times the reward and triple the bonus for destroying mechanical race starships. Repair for damaged starships. Compensation equal to the value of the destroyed starships. And those who sacrificed their lives in this battle should be given the same level of honor as Imperial military martyrs. Additionally, I, along with someone named Xin Bing from the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, am on this mission partly to earn academic credits. I hope Major General Song can arrange this. Zhao Chen laid out his conditions. 10 times the reward and triple the kill bonus are a bit high, but since you and the young lady are friends, I can agree to these terms. Compensation for damaged and destroyed starships is no problem. But the honor level for those who sacrificed, Major General Song said, noticing a flicker in Zhao Chen's eyes. He smiled and said, I see that not many have sacrificed. I believe that in this battle where the Imperial forces attack the mechanical race-controlled star system, there will be some casualties. I will find a way to include these people. As for the academic credits from the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, that's completely out of the question. Zhao Chen picked up his teacup and took a sip. He looked at Major General Song. You might be a good leader, but I prefer soldiers like Miss Chu Xian. After speaking, Zhao Chen turned to leave the private room. Wait a moment, Mr. Zhao Chen. There are 2 things I need to mention, Major General Song called out with a smile. Zhao Chen stopped in his tracks. Regarding your T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship, you don't need to worry. I've used my methods to block all the intelligence and information. It's not completely airtight, but it should hold for a short time. I believe Marshal Chu, he will be very interested in you, Major General Song said. Are you done? Zhao Chen asked without turning back. Yes, I am. Zhao Chen pushed open the door and left. Brigadier General Song was alone in his room. He used his handheld device to open the communication page. The information he had sent earlier had now received a reply. Zhao Chun left the small cabin and followed the same path to the cabin where Shun Bing and the others were. Regarding what Brigadier General Song said earlier, the first matter made him quite annoyed, but it was a reasonable resolution. The second matter, Zhao Chun had expected. The other side had found a weakness of his, but they didn't seem to intend to harm him directly. Although this put Zhao Chun in a somewhat passive position, the current situation was the best possible. He had already thought of several worst-case scenarios. The T-2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship and the T-2 Black Rhinoceros-class interstellar frigate docked in the starport were always on level 2 alert. This is the result of not having enough strength. Marshal Chuhi, the Chu family. Zhao Chun squinted, hoping this family wouldn't cross his bottom line. He pushed open the cabin door. Inside, Uncle Zheng Xiong was busy devouring a table full of delicious food. Little brother, sit down quickly and eat. This is so rich. All natural food, Uncle Zheng Xiong shouted. Sitting opposite, Shun Bing was quite calm because these foods were not as good as the dishes on Zhao Chen's Starship restaurant. It's quite good. Zhao Chen sat down. Uncle Zheng Xiong swallowed his food, glanced at the closed door, then asked seriously, how did it go? What kind of conditions? Zhao Chun told Uncle Zheng Xiong and Shin Bing about the terms he discussed with Brigadier General Song earlier. Suddenly, Uncle Zheng Xiong stood up, hurriedly wiped the grease from his hands on his clothes, and then bowed deeply to Zhao Chun. Young brother, on behalf of my fleet's fallen brothers, thank you. There's no need to thank me. They deserve it, Zhao Chun said. Uncle Zheng Xiong shook his head and said seriously, earlier, when you raised 5 fingers, I thought it was just 5 times the reward. But now, not only did you secure 10 times the reward, but you also managed to give those brothers the treatment of fallen heroes of the Empire. I thank you on behalf of those brothers. The fallen heroes of the Empire didn't actually receive very high treatment. A regular martyr's benefit only guarantees that your immediate family can receive a certain share of artificial nutrition for the next 20 years and a 20-year right to use a standard house. For ordinary people, this is already a very good benefit. Also, not every soldier who sacrifices for the Empire receives martyr's treatment. It is said that less than 1/10 of the soldiers who die each year are approved as martyrs. The rest are rejected for various reasons, or simply given a one-time compensation payment. Therefore, Zhao Chun was truly surprised to be able to secure these martyr spots, and Uncle Zheng Xiong really didn't expect it. During this battle, Zhao Chun and Shin Bing's fleets suffered no casualties. This means that the condition was specifically proposed by Zhao Chun for the fallen soldiers of Uncle Zheng Xiong's fleet. Brother, if you have trouble in the future, come to me. Although I don't have much ability, I can fight hard, Uncle Zheng Xiong said seriously. Zhao Chun responded politely. Soon after, Commander Song did not appear again, probably because he had already achieved his goal and saw no need to show up anymore. Shortly after, 3 electronic agreements were placed in front of Zhao Chun, Shin Bing, and Uncle Zheng Xiong. The content was mainly to acknowledge that this mission was voluntary and that they were fully aware of all the details. At the same time, the compensation funds had already been transferred. First, the reward. Originally, the mission was worth 200,000 stars, but it was now increased to 2 million stars. There was also a bonus for destroying 31 mechanical starships. After claiming the bonus, the wreckage was considered abandoned and handled by the Empire's military. The total kill bonus was 1.8 million stars, and with the tripled bonus, it became 5.4 million stars. Zhao Chun and others divided the reward. Because the woman in leather was betrayed, she lost her share. Zhao Chun took the largest part, 60%. Uncle Zheng Xiong took 35%, and Shun Bing took 5%. In fact, Zhao Chun gave up a bit in the division of the reward. With his fleet's performance in the battle, taking 90% wouldn't have been a problem. Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong both asked Zhao Chun to take more, but he refused, because he still had the hunting bonus to collect. Apart from Uncle Zheng Xiong destroying 3 T-2 mechanical interstellar warships, all the remaining mechanical fleet ships were destroyed by Zhao Chun's fleet. Zhao Chun also took the reward of 5.3 million stars for the kills. As a result, Zhao Chun alone received 6.5 million stars. Uncle Zhengxiong received 800,000 stars. Xin Bing received 100,000 stars. Let's split it like this, Zhao Qin said, looking at everyone. Xin Bing and Uncle Zhengxiong had no objections because they both benefited a lot. Zhao Qin transferred this bonus to his account. The amount was quite large. Previously, Zhao Qin's insect race mission at the Arctic Fox Star Port didn't pay this much. This was because Zhao Qin offered 10 times the reward and 3 times the kill bonus. Without that, the total would have been at most 1 million stars, and divided among 3 people, only a few 100,000 stars each. Uncle Zhengxiong scratched his head awkwardly. You actually lost out. You should have gotten more. It's okay. We've all been through life and death together. That's it, Zhao Qin said, patting Uncle Zhengxiong on the shoulder. Zhao Qin discussed the next plans with Uncle Zhengxiong. Since the fleet's mission was just a cover, Zhao Qin and his team didn't need to the interstellar transport fleet back. Their mission was over. Uncle Zhengxiong said he would stay here to repair the damaged starships, receive the compensation ships, and send the condolence money to the families of the fallen crew members. They would probably need to stay at the Sand City Interstellar Fortress for more than half a month. Xin Bing said she and her crew would wait until the T2 Hyena was repaired, which would take about 3 to 5 days. Zhao Qin's starship was also damaged, but he only repaired it enough to ensure normal warp travel. He asked the Imperial military repair crew to give him the repair materials so he could fix it himself later. You're in such a hurry to leave? Xin Bing asked, looking at Zhao Qin. Zhao Qin nodded. I have some other things to handle and need to get back quickly. Over at the temporary base of the Shadow Dragon fleet, the T2 Hammer-class Heavy Star industrial ship was still under construction, especially the T3 Blizzard-class Light Star battleship cruiser. Zhao Qin needed to hurry back to oversee the work. The original month-long trip was delayed by nearly a week due to this unexpected event. Goodbye for now, little brother. Feel free to contact me if you need anything in the future, Uncle Zhengxiong said warmly. On a cloud mansion located a few kilometers above the surface of a certain planet in the main star system of the Chu-He star domain, Chu Xian was lying lazily on a lounge chair, watching various entertainment programs on the Empire's online channels. But none of them were interesting. None of these could compare to the excitement of commanding fleets across star fields. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Chu Xian immediately closed her eyes and turned to the side. An old man with a white beard entered the room. Xianer, the old man called out with a smile. Chu Xian remained silent. Xianer, I brought your favorite dessert. The old man took out a box of pastries and held it near Chu Xian's nose. Chu Xian let out a muffled sound, turned her head, and continued pretending to sleep. The old man placed the pastry box beside her, then sat down and activated a holographic video, speaking loudly. Wow. I heard a T2 carrier starship actually has star shield technology. Who are you fooling? How could a T2 starship have star shield technology? And you're still a 5-star marshal. Chu Xian said with her eyes closed, pouting. The old man smiled slyly. I heard this starship is called the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier. I've never heard of such a starship before. Before the old man finished speaking, Chu Xian suddenly sat up, staring at the video window in front of him. Sure enough, she saw the familiar T2 carrier starship. And at the front of that T2 starship, there was indeed a semi-transparent energy shield, the Star Shield. This T2 carrier starship really has Star Shield technology. Chu Xian exclaimed in shock. This was truly a groundbreaking discovery for her. The old man pointed at the T2 carrier starship in the video. Based on the information I've found so far, this starship is called the T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier. Before its appearance, the Starshine Empire and the entire Galactic Alliance had no public information about this type of starship. The owner of this T2 Queen B is a man named Zhao Qin. The old man then pulled up a set of personal data, showing a picture of Zhao Qin. Zhao Qin is 21 years old, the leader of the Shalom star system, and a baron of the Empire. He is a 4th-year student at the North Star Starship Military Academy, with excellent grades in theory classes. Before recently, he had no outstanding achievements until the past 6 months. During that time, he assembled a T2 starship called Zero Storm, using 3 old starships. Its speed can reach 100 times the star speed. Chu Xian interrupted and corrected him. The maximum speed exceeds 130 times the star speed. She still remembers the scene where the Zero Storm, a T2 starship, crashed into a second-level insect hive mothership. The old man continued. After that, he brought out this T2 queen and took part in your incident involving the second-level universe insect nest. At that time, the T2 queen didn't use star shield technology, but it was equipped with drones that had very strong combat power. Among current star drones of the same level and type, it ranks among the best. Chu Xin nodded, recalling. During the battle with the insect race, his T2 queen was protected by my fleet, so it didn't use star shield technology. The old man then showed a hologram of another starship, a small black oval-shaped ship with a large black horn at the front. This is a T2 Black Rhinoceros-class starship, a heavy ship. When at North Star Academy, it once fought in a starship duel with a T2 Purple Rose-class medium starship battleship. What? And ship fighting a battleship? Chu Xian was surprised. Yes, and the T2 Black Rhinoceros won decisively. In the video of that battle, 5 T2 Black Rhinoceroses teamed up with a T2 Queen to destroy a T3 Black Iron-class medium starship destroyer of the mechanical race. They also destroyed 30 T2 mechanical starships. These 6 starships were damaged, but none were lost. The old man spoke seriously. Chu Xian looked amazed, unable to respond for a long time. Grandpa, what are you trying to say? Chu Xian looked at him with confusion. Her grandfather rarely spent so much time talking about a person, especially a 20-year-old young man. The elder pointed to Zhao Chen's portrait and said, "This person has a secret, and he has great talent as a starship engineer and scientist. I heard you're very interested in him. Since you don't want to stay here, I have a task for you. Approach him and find a way to learn his secret. It would be best if he cooperates with our Chu family. But if you discover he might be an enemy of our Chu family." Xianer, you understand what I mean. The elder looked serious, with a hint of anger in his eyes. Chu Xian nodded. She knew her grandfather's temper well. Although he often acted like a playful old man in front of her, when it came to important matters, he was decisive and ruthless. He had once commanded the destruction of a star system, killing over 100 million intelligent mechanical beings as a 5-star general of the Stellar Glory Empire. Thanks to him, the Chu family now held its current position. I understand. I will try to approach Zhao Chun, Chu Xian said, accepting the task. Compared to sitting in the Chu family estate and reflecting on her mistakes, she could accept this mission. Moreover, she was already curious about Zhao Chun, who owned a T2 starship with shield technology. That made her even more interested. I will arrange an identity for you. When the time comes, go directly to the North Star Starship Military Academy, the elder said. In early March of the galactic calendar year 3031, Zhao Qin's fleet finally returned to the North Star star system, about 10 days later than planned. Fortunately, the mission was smooth and uneventful. When Zhao Qin arrived at the temporary base of the Dragon Shadow fleet, he saw that a lot had changed since he left. Originally, there were only 5 T2 Black Rhinoceros ships, 1 T2 Hammer, and 1 No. 0 Blizzard. Now, the number had doubled. 2 T2 Hammer-class heavy star industrial ships had built expansion platforms that looked like simple space stations from afar. Small engineering robots were busy working around the ships under the cosmic environment. Mechanical arms, controlled by engineers, extended from the T2 Hammer ships to assemble and connect parts of the ships. The most eye-catching was the construction platform for the T3 Blizzard-class light starship battleship. The expanding area under construction is several times larger than the T2 Hammer ship itself. The T3 Blizzard has been under construction for a month. Its keel is already built, and some key modules are starting to be installed, giving a rough idea of its shape. Meanwhile, on the other side, many T2 Black Rhinos are being built. There are 5 T2 Black Rhinos currently under construction on the expansion platform. Commander, Charlotte's video window popped up. Clearly, she was happy to see Zhao Qin return safely. At some point, she had started to care about this man. How is the base doing? Zhao Qin asked. The base is normal. More than half of the 20 million star coins worth of raw materials you prepared have been used up, but it's enough for the construction plans through March. So far, 1 T2 Hammer, 1 T2 Bronze Eden, and 5 T2 Black Rhinos have been completed. Currently, 1 T3 Blizzard and 5 T2 Black Rhinos are under construction. By the end of March, 5 more T2 Black Rhinos will be finished, Charlotte reported. When Zhao Qin left, Charlotte had gained permission to know about the T3 starship under construction, called Blizzard. This made Zhao Chen feel more confident. With this construction speed, completing the quarterly task before the end of March shouldn't be a problem. Is the T2 Bronze Eden finished? Zhao Chen was curious about this T2 Bronze Eden starship, which could be his future source of wealth. Yes, and I've recruited a group of orcs who are already working on the T2 Bronze Eden, Charlotte replied. Then I need to go see it. Zhao Chen immediately planned his next trip. He was heading to the T2 Bronze Eden starship. Zhao Chen specifically invited Lilith and the dwarf Annie to join him. They took a shuttle to the T2 Bronze Eden starship. On the shuttle, dwarf Annie sat stiffly in the corner, glancing occasionally at Zhao Chen sitting across from her. Although they had known each other for over a month, she still felt a bit respectful and cautious around this man. However, because of her recent experiences living on the T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship, she no longer felt as afraid of this man. But she didn't understand why he was so kind to her. Annie was small and short, ate a lot, and didn't know how to fight. Could it be? Could he want to eat Annie? A frightening thought suddenly crossed her mind. In an instant, her hair seemed to stand on end, and she tightly clenched her fists around her clothes. She remembered her mother once saying that some evil humans liked to capture women from other star races. After carefully raising them for a while, they would eat them. Annie swallowed hard, feeling as if she were in an icy cold place. Are you afraid of me? Zhao Chen asked with a smile as he looked at Annie. Annie shivered, lowered her head, and looked at her toes. I don't. Then why don't you dare to look at me? Zhao Chen asked. Annie was so nervous she couldn't speak clearly. She suddenly started to cry and said, Annie is not tasty. Annie's meat is not good. Don't eat Annie. Zhao Chen was surprised, then chuckled softly. Lily, who was nearby, couldn't help but laugh at the cute girl. After laughing, Zhao Chen said seriously, Don't worry, I don't eat children. Annie let out a breath of relief, patted her small chest, but then muttered, Annie is not a child. Annie is already an adult. Zhao Chen didn't mind Annie's strange thoughts. I heard from Lily that you've already mastered the construction techniques for T1 and T2 starships. During this time, Zhao Chen had Lily take care of Annie, partly to observe her abilities. On her home planet, even before she was a teenager, Annie could build various small electronic devices. If given enough materials, she could even craft a small T1 civilian starship by hand. In other words, as long as she had the blueprints. There was nothing in T1 level technology that she couldn't do. As for T2, Zhao Chen specifically brought her some T2 Black Rhinoceros and T2 Queen's technological blueprints. After a few hours of familiarizing herself with the designs, she could confidently explain the related technical knowledge. Over the past month, Zhao Chen assigned Annie the task of reading various books about T1 and T2 starship technology. These books contain knowledge that students at the Northern Star Academy's Starship Engineering program usually take years to learn, but Annie was able to understand them in just a week. This clearly shows Annie's talent. She is smarter and more gifted than ordinary interstellar dwarfs. Zhao Chen truly found a treasure this time. Perhaps it was also due to the fleet's good luck. Just a little bit, Annie whispered. I won't eat you, but I hope you can work for me and help build starships. If you perform well, I will offer you a better life than before. I can guarantee your safety, and you can enjoy all kinds of delicious food, Zhao Chen promised sincerely. Annie didn't refuse immediately. She hesitated for a moment. I can give you some time to think about it, Zhao Chen said, looking at the little dwarf. He knew she had already been won over by his charm. Surrender was only a matter of time. At this moment, the shuttle had arrived at the hangar door of T2 Bronze Eden. The hangar opened, and the shuttle docked. Hello, Commander. I am the person in charge of this T2 Bronze Eden, said a female half-orc crew member with rabbit ears, appearing a bit nervous, with her ears drooping. Don't be nervous. I don't bite. I'm just here to see how T2 Bronze Eden is doing, Zhao Chen joked, echoing Annie's earlier words. Please follow me. The rabbit-eared woman led the way, guiding Zhao Chen and the others through a long corridor. Suddenly, when they reached a bright area, Zhao Chen and Lilith were stunned by what they saw. Their faces were blank, but their eyes showed excitement. However, the little dwarf Annie could only see a fence over 1.6 meters tall, blocking her view of what was inside. She tried to stand on tiptoe, but still couldn't see. Curious, She wondered what the commander and Lilith were looking at. She tried to jump up. Hey, it seemed she caught a glimpse of something green. Hey, it looked like she saw something white and foggy. Hey, oh no. Annie suddenly fell to the ground, holding her head and with tears in her eyes. Just now, she jumped up and accidentally hit her head on the protruding part of the fence, then fell flat on the ground. She touched her head and then her bottom. But she didn't give up. She took a few steps back, looked at the height of the fence, and calculated the height, speed, and trajectory. Annie can do it. Annie will do it. Taking a deep breath, her little legs started running wildly. When she was about a meter away from the fence, she used all her strength and leapt into the air. At the same time, she raised her hands and stared at the edge of the fence. Annie's hands grabbed the edge of the fence. Her face was flushed, but she kept trying hard, trying to lift her body upward. Come on, Annie. You can do it. She cheered herself silently. With her effort, her right forearm reached the edge of the fence, and her head peeked over it. Annie was very happy. She then tried to get her other arm onto the fence as well. She pushed with all her might, little by little. Meanwhile, her tiny legs kept pushing against the fence wall. Her left forearm also rested on the fence. Joy filled Annie's heart. She was about to see what was inside the fence. What kind of view could make the commander and Lily stay so long in awe? Suddenly, a force pulled Annie backward from behind. The edge of the fence, which was so close, gradually moved away. Her legs touched the ground again, and she looked up at the tall fence edge. That's very dangerous, you know, Zhao Chun said, looking at Annie as if scolding a small child. Annie stared at Zhao Chun, her big watery eyes seeming like she might burst into tears at any moment. Let's go over there. There's a passage that leads inside, where we can see the whole area more clearly. The girl with bunny ears pointed to a corridor a few meters away. Annie froze, looking at the fence in front of her, and then at the corridor just a few meters away. Her feelings were mixed. Annie, hurry up, Lilith said as she stepped onto the corridor. She saw Annie behind her, looking strange and hesitant, and urged her to move. Okay, Annie replied and quickly walked over. When she entered the corridor, her previously upset and complicated feelings disappeared instantly. This was a clear glass walkway high above the ground, allowing a full view of the scenery inside the railing. Annie stood on the glass path, staring at what was before her. Her face was blank, and her mind was filled with shock and disbelief. Is this inside a spaceship? It's so beautiful. The glass walkway was about 5 or 6 meters above the ground. Below, there was a large farmland filled with natural crops, all big and abundant. Rows of vegetables looked very pleasing to the eye. Further in the distance, there was a man-made lake with fish and seafood being farmed. Different kinds of fish could be seen, and sometimes fish would jump out of the water. On the other side of the lake, there was an orchard providing various fruits. Farther away, there was a pasture and livestock area, mainly with pigs, cows, sheep, chickens, and ducks. How is it possible to build such a large ecosystem inside a spaceship? Maintaining it must take so many resources, Annie thought immediately. The bunny-eared girl smiled and explained, besides the initial building resources and the cost of buying seeds and breeding stock, maintaining this ecological farm doesn't need any extra resources. It's all powered by the spaceship's onboard cosmic element collectors, which gather nutrients from space. Of course, energy blocks needed for the spaceship's engine and navigation still need to be replenished regularly. How is that possible? Annie looked shocked. It completely overturned her previous understanding. Plus, on this spaceship, the growth cycles of crops and livestock are greatly shortened, and the output is several times higher. The quality is top grade. Basically, there's a steady harvest every month. This T2 bronze Eden can meet the basic living needs of 1 million people, said the rabbit-eared girl. 1 million. Annie swallowed hard. Annie now understood why this commanding officer's starship could maintain such luxurious meals every day. No matter how wasteful the crew might be, just this T2 bronze Eden-class starship alone could support the lives of tens of thousands of crew members without any problem. Lily, who had known for a while that such a starship was being built, was still very impressed when she saw it with her own eyes. Very impressive. Zhao Chun was very pleased with everything he saw. Although he had read about it in the blueprints before, seeing such a starship in person still gave him a strong sense of awe. He looked up at the holographic sky and the sun. If he wasn't told that they were in a space starship right now, Zhao Chen might think he was just on a farm on a planet. The value of one T2 bronze Eden ship produced in a month can reach 1 million star coins. If I could build 10 or 20 of these, then I could make money just by relaxing every month. Zhao Chen imagined this wonderful scene. Due to the food shortage in the universe, food trade has become a highly profitable industry, second only to starship weapons trade. A few agricultural planets that produce high-quality natural crops are the cash cows for the Empire's nobles and big financial groups. "Commander, these are our freshest fruits. Please try some," said the rabbit-eared girl as she led Zhao Chun and others down the transparent glass walkway into a lush orchard. Skilled, she picked some fruit, washed it, and handed it to Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun took a bite, and the juice and sweet flavor flowed through his mouth and down his throat. "Very good. You can also pick and eat the fruit yourself," Zhao Chun said, pointing to the ripe orchard while looking at Lily and Annie. With Zhao Chen's permission, Lily didn't hesitate. She picked a fruit and started eating happily, a bright smile on her face. Annie stared at a large apple. She swallowed hard and reached out to pick it. "Pick it." Standing on tiptoe, Annie still couldn't reach the fruit. She made a quick decision and jumped up. The big apple still hung there safely, almost as if it was teasing her. "Little friend, let me help you pick that," the bunny-eared girl said kindly as she came over and carefully took down the big apple for Annie. "I'm not a little kid," Annie said angrily, but when she took the first bite of the apple, a happy smile appeared on her face. Fruits are also available in the spaceship's cafeteria, but they cost much more than regular meals. After all, growing fruits in the same space as crops doesn't produce as much or as useful food. Plus, fruits can't fill your stomach, so they are considered a luxury item. The crew of the Falcon Fleet can only enjoy 1 or 2 fruits each month. This way, our Falcon Fleet spaceship won't need to buy food from outside anymore. "We can be self-sufficient," Zhao Chen said happily. Based on Zhao Chen's meal standards, 100 or so people might have been fine before. But now, with the fleet's rapidly increasing number of soldiers, the monthly costs are quite high under those standards. Now, this problem has been fully solved. After exploring the T2 Bronze Eden, Zhao Chun and his team returned. Annie and Lilith each carried a big basket of fruit, which Zhao Chun allowed them to take home to share with friends. Annie's small belly was already full of fruit. Burp. Annie sat in the shuttle, comfortably letting out a satisfied burp. This was her first time experiencing all-you-can-eat fruit, and it felt truly luxurious. "Annie, what do you think about staying in my Falcon Fleet?" Zhao Chun asked her again. Annie didn't answer directly, but she didn't seem as hesitant as before. "If you're not willing, I won't force you. But you know, in our fleet, we believe in earning what we get. The crew members work for me, so they get good meals and treatment in return. You have been with the X-Dragon Fleet for the past month. That was a special privilege I granted you, but such privileges cannot last forever. It wouldn't be fair to the other crew members. If you really don't want to work for me, I can arrange for you to leave," said Zhao Chun. Next to him, Lilith couldn't help but roll her eyes. Only a fool would leave such a happy place. But for some reason, Lilith felt a strange sense of familiarity with this scene. "Moreover, if you think life here is good, in the future, you can bring your family members and clan members to join us. As long as they are willing to work for me, I can offer them the same good treatment, and I will ensure their safety. Here, no one will be able to hurt you." Annie bit her lip gently. She looked at the fruit basket beside her and finally made her decision. First, arrange for Annie to go to the T2 Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ship No. 2 to oversee the construction of the T2 Black Rhinoceros-class interstellar heavy ship. Her future assignments will depend on her abilities. As for her clan members, it seems she wants to observe us for a while. Let her observe. Right now, we are not in urgent need of technical workers, Zhao Chen told Lilith. Under Zhao Chen's sweet words, Annie finally decided to work for him. Yes, Lilith noted this. Later, Zhao Chun and Lilith will take a number 0 Blizzard and the T2 Black Rhinoceros back to the North Star Academy. Charlotte, you continue to handle things here, Zhao Chun instructed. Okay, Charlotte replied. Now, Charlotte and Lilith are basically Zhao Chen's right-hand people. With them here, managing this fleet of fewer than 30 starships is easy. As for why Zhao Chun is eager to return to North Star Academy, it's probably to check his performance and credits after completing his tasks. That's related to the annual mission. Zhao Chun left the T-2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship and returned to the long-missed number 0 blizzard, looking at the somewhat old bridge. He really wasn't used to it. Before leaving, he glanced at the T-3 Snowstorm-class light interstellar battleship still under construction, hoping it would be ready for service soon. Once it was operational, his flagship could be this T-3 starship. Before departing for the Northern Star Academy, Zhao Chun opened his system page. Host, Zhao Chun profession, top starship engineer special attributes, fleet luck bonus, insightful I points, 5720 mission points, 34 starships, 19 ships mission, annual mission warehouse, T-2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship blueprints, T-3 Snowstorm class light interstellar battleship blueprints, T-2 Black Knight class light interstellar combat mech blueprints. Thanks to the rewards from the mission, Zhao Chun's system points and mission points reached an all-time high. His system points also included the starship points income from recent system rewards, but it was still a slow accumulation. T-2 Lion King is a key future firepower focus, but the current task is to complete the quarterly mission before the end of March. So, I won't plan to build anything now. I'll wait until after March. With the current mission points and system points, I have enough to exchange for a T-2 starship, but a T-3 starship is still difficult. Building a T-3 starship would require a lot of resources and raw materials, and the current Dragonfly fleet can't support such a big expense, Zhao Chun thought as he planned the next steps for the Dragonfly fleet's construction. In the end, Zhao Chun decided not to exchange for a new system starship for now. He would focus on completing his current construction plans and build a small number of T-2 Black Knight class light interstellar combat mechs. These mechs could be carried on starships and might prove useful in certain situations. After considering these plans, Zhao Chun closed his system interface and contentedly entered his sleep pod. When he opened his eyes again, he had already arrived at the outskirts of the Northern Star Academy. 2 starships began docking at the designated starport berths. Immediately upon returning, Zhao Chun contacted Zhao Wanner and Li Wei. Unexpectedly, Zhao Wanner still couldn't be reached this time. Could this girl have gotten into some trouble again? Zhao Chun muttered to himself. But Li Wei's communication line was quickly connected. Old Zhao, you're back. I heard you completed a military mission and earned 3 times the assessment points for the 4th year level. On the video screen, Li Wei looked excited as he spoke to Zhao Chun. Since it's not a big secret that a student skipped a grade, everyone would probably find out soon enough. Where's Zhao Wanner? I can't get in touch with her, Zhao Chun asked. Your sister? She took part in an interstellar mission organized by the Academy. It was a joint mission with the Tianyao Noble Starship Military Academy. It involved 4th, 5th, and even 6th year students from both schools. Even your senior sister, Su Lan, participated. The mission was led by vice deans from both academies. It's said that students who perform well in this interstellar mission can win a T-3 starship as a reward. The top 5 can also get a brand new T-2 starship. Li Wei said with envy. Getting a T-3 starship as a reward is a big deal, even for noble children. A T-3 starship costs over 1 billion star coins, which most noble families can't afford. So, it turns out she went on this starship mission just for that T-3 interstellar warship or the new T-2 model. Her strong personality was probably triggered by her rapid growth, Zhao Chun thought to himself. Yeah, there's one more thing. My sister. Li Wei hadn't finished saying what he wanted to. At that moment, a video window popped up showing Vice Dean Hong from Beiji Star Academy. Li Wei, Vice Dean Hong is trying to contact me. I'll hang up now, Zhao Chun said, ending the call. Li Wei watched the communication window close, feeling helpless. His brother had been very busy since half a year ago, and they hadn't seen each other in months. He wanted to tell him that his sister was here and hoped they could meet. After all, his sister was still trying to find out who the person was that had traded with her earlier. I am the designer of the popular starship, the T-1 Wolf Mike-class medium interstellar destroyer. Although I don't know why Zhao Chun wants to keep it a secret, Li Wei chose to keep this secret for him. So, I can only apologize to my sister. Sister, it's not that I don't want to tell you, but Zhao Chun won't let me. Right now, I don't even know who my partner is. Liyaki has already come to Zhao Chun at Beiji Star Academy to reveal the secret. After receiving Vice Dean Hong's message asking him to come to his office quickly, Zhao Chun went there, mainly because of his special status. Soon, Zhao Chen arrived at Vice Dean Hong's office. He pressed the electronic doorbell at the entrance. "Student Zhao Chen, invited guest, please come in," a mechanical female voice announced, and the door opened. Vice Dean Hong was sitting on the sofa inside the office, waving to Zhao Chen as he entered. But as Zhao Chen approached, he noticed that across from Vice Dean Hong, there was another person smiling at him. It was Miss Chu Xian, the young lady of the Chu family. "Long time no see, Captain Zhao Chen." Chu Xian's appearance here surprised Zhao Chen, but it was also understandable. During the incident at the Sand City Star Fortress, General Song said he would keep his secret, but also mentioned Governor Chu He. The meaning of his words was very clear. The Chu family must have already taken notice of him. They would definitely send someone to contact him. And now, it seems that this person is Miss Chu Xian, someone Zhao Chen has met a few times. What surprised him most was how quickly she arrived. "Since Zhao Chen and Miss Chu Xian know each other, I don't need to introduce you. Please sit down," Vice Dean Hong said with a smile, looking at the two young people. "Having a student from our academy valued by the Chu family is a pride for Beiji Star Academy. Moreover, the relationship between Beiji Star Academy and the Chu family has always been good. Otherwise, the T4 Northwind God-class heavy interstellar battleship wouldn't have been developed through joint efforts." Zhao Chen looked at the sofas on both sides. Vice Dean Hong sat on one, and Chu Xian sat on the other. He definitely couldn't sit next to Vice Dean Hong, so he chose to sit beside Chu Xian. "Do I have thorns on me?" Zhao Chen sat far away from Chu Xian and joked playfully. "I am of humble status and don't dare to bother Miss Chu," Zhao Chen said with a clumsy excuse. "Although there are no sharp points on you, Miss Chu, the reputation of the Chu family is just too big. Vice Dean, you can speak about the main matter now." "I won't mind," Chu Xian said with a smile, ignoring Zhao Chen's words. Vice Dean Hong nodded and then looked at Zhao Chen. According to the task report from the Empire Army, student Zhao Chen performed very well this time and can earn extra credits. Your total credits have already exceeded 3 times the credits needed for a fourth-year student. We will arrange for you to skip a grade. Do you have any objections, Zhao Chen? Zhao Chen shook his head. No. Vice Dean Hong raised his hand and opened an electronic file, then made some changes. He said, "From now on, you are a 5th-year student in Class 1. But if you can't earn enough credits by the end of June, you will have to repeat the year. Do you understand, Zhao Chen?" "Yes, I understand," Zhao Chen replied. "Good." Vice Dean Hong's serious expression softened into a kind smile. "Zhao Chen, you are very talented. Being awarded by the Empire Army and recommended by a 1-star general shows your strength. As the Vice Dean of the college training you, I am proud of you. I hope you keep working hard and create your own success." "Thank you, Vice Dean, for your support. I will do my best," Zhao Chen said politely. "Now let's talk about something else. You also know this person, Miss Chu Xian, the young lady of the Chu family. She will be studying at our North Star Academy for a while. You will be responsible for welcoming her," Vice Dean Hong said. Zhao Chen was about to refuse. "This also counts as part of your academic tasks and can earn 30% of the credits for the 5th-year level," Hong added. Zhao Chen immediately smiled and humbly looked at Chu Xian. "It's my honor to serve Miss Chu. For the sake of credits, I will endure. There's a few more things I need to handle." "Zhao Chen, you can take Miss Chu Xian around the academy," Vice Dean Hong said. Zhao Chen and Chu Xian left Vice Dean Hong's office. "It seems like you're not very welcoming to me," Chu Xian said. Chu Xian clasped her hands behind her back and smiled as she looked at Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen looked at Chu Xian, who was dressed casually. Her presence now was very different from when she wore the imperial military uniform. Now, she looked more like an ordinary young girl. "You are the eldest daughter of the Chu family. Wherever you go, no one dares to refuse you," Zhao Chen said with a light laugh. "But I don't like this identity," Chu Xian suddenly said, her eyes a bit dull. Zhao Chen looked at her in surprise and asked, "Why?" "This is a position many people dream of. I know this is a life others wish for. Maybe in your eyes, I am ungrateful for my good fortune. But being part of the Chu family also brings many restrictions. For example, during my recent mission in the cosmic insect nest, I thought I was just doing my duty as a soldier. But in the end, my grandfather directly took me back to the family. They see me as taking risks." Chu Xian shrugged helplessly. At this moment, Zhao Chun and Chu Xian had reached a part of the academy with a transparent sky dome that showed the outside universe. They could see some starships moving through space. Chu Xian stopped and looked at the starships, whispering, "My dream is simple. I want to become an excellent imperial officer like my parents. To command my own fleet and fight for the people of the galaxy, protecting our space territory. But because of my current identity, I can't even pursue this dream. It seems your grandfather is too strict with you," Zhao Chun muttered. "Exactly. My grandfather is so worried I might have an accident that he even assigned that one-star brigadier, Xiao Song, to watch over me. It's so annoying," Chu Xian complained. But then she added softly, "I can understand what my grandfather is thinking. He's worried I might follow in my parents' footsteps." Zhao Chun suddenly remembered some information Lily had mentioned before. Chu Xian's parents were both soldiers in the Imperial Army. During a military operation, their fleet was surrounded and destroyed by the mechanical race's fleet, suffering total defeat. After that battle, Governor Chu he led tens of thousands of space fleets on a campaign across dozens of star systems. He fought until he completely destroyed the mechanical fleet that had attacked his son-in-law and daughter, then withdrew. During this time, when passing through star systems controlled by mechanical races, Governor Chu he ordered starships to carry out orbital bombings on planets with intelligent mechanical life, leaving no ground untouched. If those beings weren't intelligent mechanical life, his actions would likely have been seen as senseless slaughter by his own people, labeling him a ruthless killer. Despite this, some members of the Starshine Empire still dislike Governor Chu's actions, finding them too extreme. There are also groups who believe in negotiating with the mechanical races. They see Chu's actions as mass killing and consider him a butcher who should face military justice. However, because these groups have little influence, their opinions don't affect Chu's position much. Because of this incident, Chu is very protective of his granddaughter and refuses to let her face any danger. He is even more reluctant to let her become a real imperial soldier. Previously, she secretly went to her grandfather's Beifeng star domain just to experience being a military officer. Chu Xian often talks a lot with Zhao Chun. Most of the time, Chu Xian speaks, and Zhao Chun responds. Honestly, if it weren't for Chu Xian's special background, Zhao Chun would quite like her. After talking for so long, I think you probably guessed my purpose. I don't like beating around the bush. Chu Xian suddenly stopped and looked directly at Zhao Chun. My grandfather has seen your information, including your No. 0 Blizzard, the T2 Black Rhinoceros class interstellar heavy ship, and the T2 Queen Bee class heavy carrier starship. My grandfather's message is, are you willing to cooperate with our Chu family? Zhao Chun smiled and looked at Chu Xian. You're so straightforward? Because I think you're a pretty good person, suitable to be friends, Chu Xian honestly said. Zhao Chun then asked, what if I refuse? Chu Xian rubbed her chin thoughtfully and said, if you refuse, my grandfather will probably send people to investigate you thoroughly. If they find out you're against our Chu family or closely connected to our enemies, there will only be one result. She then gestured around her neck. Zhao Chun nodded, expecting this kind of handling method. It was a common approach. I hope you can cooperate with our Chu family. I don't want my admired friend to die at the hands of my family, Chu Xian said sincerely. You have talent in starship research and manufacturing. Our Chu family can provide you with the best resources in this area. You are now the lord of the Xiaolong star system, and we understand the situation there. If you're willing, we can use our connections to give you a new fiefdom. Of course, if you prefer not to change, we can also offer significant resources to support Xiaolong star system. Although it doesn't have a star gate, it won't be a poor star system either. You currently hold the Baron title, and in the future, you could become a Viscount. The inheritance of your title is not an issue. Chu Xian threw out a lot of sweet words. If it were someone else, they might have already decided to join the Chu family. But Zhao Chun knew his secrets, which made it impossible for him to fully trust any faction. In the future, he might develop T4 or even T5 starship technology. When that time comes, how would those he serves treat him? He had seen many stories about powerful figures being overthrown after gaining too much power. But now, it was impossible to turn against the Chu family, especially since he had already shown off the T2 Queen-class heavy carrier starship with Star Shield technology. Although, overall, T2 starship technology might not impress the Chu family. Otherwise, today, it wouldn't be Chu Xian here. Instead, he would be taken to meet the Chu family's governor. I need some time to think, Zhao Chen said with a smile. He needed to carefully manage his relationship with the Chu family, neither too close nor too distant, because the Chu family could also become his shield or protective talisman, depending on how he used it. I understand. I can try to get you some time, but not too long, Chu Xian replied. After some negotiations, Zhao Chen took Chu Xian back to her residence at the Northern Star Academy, while he returned to the Zero Storm. In the captain's bedroom, Zhao Chen lay on the bed. He first opened his student profile. Student, Zhao Chen, age, 21, identity, Lord of the North Wind Star Domain, Xiaolong Star System, Baron, grade, 5th year department, navigation class, 5th year, Class 1. The arrangement of Class 1 in the 5th year surprised Zhao Chen, because Class 1 is the best class in the 5th year. Students who graduate from this class are likely to succeed or at least live comfortably. Most of the students are from noble families. Unfortunately, Zhao Wan'er and Xue Xiao are in this class. So, Zhao Chen, the older brother, ends up in the same class as his sister. Now that it's the 5th year, I need to find a way to earn enough credits for the 5th year assessment before the end of June. This time, I don't need triple credits, just enough to advance to the 6th year. After school starts in October, I plan to earn triple credits in 3 months to graduate early. Zhao Chen began planning his yearly goals. In theory, this shouldn't be a big problem. But earning triple credits for the 6th year is not easy. Tasks like missions of the same level can only guarantee graduation in the 6th year. And how to handle my relationship with the Chu family, Zhao Chen muttered, feeling overwhelmed by all these matters. Big sister, I told you. Don't look for him. He doesn't want to reveal his identity. Don't force him, okay? Forcing things never works, Li Wei said helplessly, looking at his sister across from him. Li Yaqi stared at Li Wei. You really won't tell me who this person is. Don't forget, I am your sister. Wait. Your tricks won't work on me. If you dare make things difficult for me about this, I'll tell that person. See if they want to meet you then, Li Wei said with a smile. It was clear that Li Wei's words hit a sensitive spot for Li Yaqi. She didn't dare offend that person, especially since her company, Beiyin Starship Technology Group, grew thanks to their technology. Humph. I can find out myself even if you don't tell me. The Beiyin Star College is not that big. I refuse to believe I can't find out. Li Yaqi snorted coldly, then pulled out some files of current instructors and professors at Beiyin Star College. She compared each one carefully. Li Wei looked at his sister and covered his face, saying, Sis, is that really necessary? They just gave you a popular T1 starship technology. Li Yaqi ignored her brother. What they gave her was more than just a T1 starship technology. It was 4 different starship technologies, including a T2 starship technology. She had already expanded the North Wild Goose Starship Technology Group's shipyard, and soon these 4 technologies would be revealed. She was confident that these 4 starship technologies would push her North Wild Goose Group to a new high. By the way, you mentioned you have a good friend at the North Star Academy named Zhao Chen. You said he takes good care of you there. Without his help, you might not have been able to complete your grades and credits over the past 3 years. Since I'm here this time, let's set a time to meet. I'll invite him to dinner to thank him for taking care of you all these years, Li Yaqi said. Li Wei stiffened. Could it be that his sister already knew Zhao Chen? What's the problem? I heard he just returned to the academy today, so he should be free. Li Yaqi noticed her brother's strange reaction and asked. She was actually looking for Zhao Chen partly to thank him for taking care of her brother, and partly to gather some information from people close to her brother. I'll ask around, Li Wei said, pretending to be calm. Refusing now would definitely make his sister suspicious. Zhao Chen, you better hope for the best. Zhao Chen spent the next period at the academy because Xiao Xian was with him. If he left the academy, it would surely raise suspicion. So, during this time, Zhao Chen didn't go to the Dragon Shadow Fleet's temporary base, only maintaining necessary communication. To his surprise, Li Wei's sister actually came to North Star Academy and wanted to invite him to dinner. Zhao Chen could understand curiosity in a person, but he didn't want to reveal too much about himself for now, especially not in front of the Xiao family. If he also revealed the technologies he gave to Li Yaqi, all focused on him, Zhao Chen wasn't sure if the Xiao family would change their opinion of him. So, Liyaqi's several invitations were all politely declined by Zhao Chun for various reasons. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Chun had been at the academy for about 20 days, almost reaching the end of March. His daily routine was just reporting to his class, but most of the students in Grade 5, Class 1, participated in the joint interstellar mission between Beiji Star Academy and Tianyao Academy, so there weren't many students in his class. The rest of his time was spent accompanying Miss Chu Xian, who often asked about starships. Zhao Chen didn't hide what he knew. Through Miss Chu Xian, Zhao Chen also learned many things that an ordinary student or a baron wouldn't know. The entire Xingyao Empire was far from as peaceful as it seemed on the surface, but those issues didn't concern Zhao Chen at the moment. His relationship with Chu Xian was mutually beneficial, and they became more familiar with each other. However, some people in the academy, who didn't know the full story, thought that this suddenly appearing beautiful girl was Zhao Chen's girlfriend. Look, Zhao Chun is out shopping again with his girlfriend. I heard Zhao Chun is now a student in Grade 5, Class 1. That's pretty impressive. Remember, Jiang Shasha used to refuse Zhao Chun before. Now she's seen as a potential star. She must be regretting it. Shoo, be quiet. Jiang Shasha is over there. Just then, Jiang Shasha, passing by, overheard the gossip and clenched her fists. After the Jiang family moved from the Xiongling star system to settle in another star system in the Beifeng star domain, they quickly integrated due to the industries arranged by the family in advance. Jiang Shasha also returned to Beiji Star Academy after the new semester started. She knew about Zhao Chen's excellent performances since then. Every time Zhao Chen showed outstanding abilities, it felt like a slap in her face, and rumors naturally spread. Most recently, Zhao Chen completed 3 times the credits for the 4th grade level in just 4 months after starting school, and skipped a grade to become a student in Grade 5, Class 1. He's just academically talented. The mess in the Xiongling star system is still there. After graduation, he'll still have to be a baron and stay stuck in that broken place for life. Sasha, there's no need to be sad. You have a brighter future ahead. Jiang Shasha looked at Zhao Chen's distant figure and comforted herself. Among those paying attention to Zhao Chun is Liyaqi. After Zhao Chun refused her invitation, Liyaqi felt surprised. Her status is quite high. She is part of Beiyin Starship Technology Group, the leading seller of the popular T1 Wolf Lice-class medium interstellar destroyers. Even during her visit to Beijing Academy, the vice president and professors showed her great respect. Many students have been trying to get closer to Li Wei during this time, partly to show off in front of this rising tech company boss, and partly to try to get a T1 Wolf Lice-class destroyer, which is very popular and has a waiting list of 6 months. But Zhao Chen directly refused. Something strange is going on. Liyaqi started researching Zhao Chen's background. His starship, assembled from 3 old ships, reached an incredible speed of 100 light-years per hour and defeated a T2 White Eagle-class light cruiser. Later, he even used a T2 Black Rhinoceros-class heavy, which no one had seen before, to defeat a T2 Purple Rose-class medium battleship. His amazing starship skills and a mysterious starship no one knew about made Liyaqi suspicious of Zhao Chen. But then she looked at his age. He is the same age as her younger brother. Could a student like him develop such excellent starship technology? Liyaqi found it hard to believe. So she increased her investigation into Zhao Chun and even tried to find chances to meet him face to face. Unexpectedly, she saw Chu Xian, the young lady of the Chu family, nearby. She had previously attended a banquet hosted by the Chu family and saw Chu Xian from afar. She couldn't believe that a student from Beijing Academy, just a baron, would know Chu Xian. Now, Zhao Chen's background seems even more mysterious. Could it be that the Chu family is also working with him? But if they find out his true identity, since the Chu family also owns Starship Technology Groups, they wouldn't let Beiyin take this advantage. That means the Chu family might not even know Zhao Chen's real background. It's so frustrating. I really want to confront him directly and ask if he's the person I think he is. Liyaqi felt less anxious when she was negotiating business with others than she did now. In the end, she decided to wait until Chu Xian left Zhao Chen's side before finding a chance to talk to Zhao Chen. After all, if Zhao Chen really was that man, her Beiyin Starship Technology Group would be closely connected to him. Zhao Chen woke up in the captain's bedroom of the Zero Storm. He stretched lazily. Although Miss Chu Xian was here, he still enjoyed the relaxed life. Quarterly task completed. Rewards available. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Zhao Chen's mind. He opened his system page to check the task. Quarterly tasks. Own 5 different models of T2 and above starships, 5/5. Build a fleet of 30 starships, 30/30. Own a T3 level starship, 1/1. System-produced starship. This meant Zhao Chen's long-awaited T3 Storm had finally been launched and put into service. He immediately opened his communication page, ready to contact Charlotte, but the next second, a message from her came in. T3 Storm-class light interstellar battleship has been launched and will enter a 1-week trial navigation phase. Zhao Chen replied, received. Now, Zhao Chen felt much more relaxed. Having a T3 starship in hand felt completely different. Unfortunately, because Chu Xian was here, Zhao Chen couldn't go see his first T3 starship right away. But for now, he could collect his quarterly rewards. Quarterly rewards collected. Gained 30 task points. Gained 3,000 system points. Gained T3 Super Soldier Potion. Gained technical blueprints for AT2 Snow Mastiff class heavy starship. Gained blueprints for AT3 Andromeda medical starship. There was actually AT3 level Super Soldier Potion. Zhao Chen naturally wouldn't refuse such a good thing. Without hesitation, he skillfully injected himself with a dose. He took a deep breath, and the familiar pain swept over him again, as if his cells were being torn apart. Joint noises sounded like firecrackers going off inside Zhao Chen's body. His heart was beating faster and faster. If a doctor were here to watch, they would be surprised to see his heartbeat was several times faster than normal. Zhao Chen was twitching on the bed, with a fierce expression, and blood was even dripping from his mouth. He was gripping the edge of the bed tightly. That was the sound of the bed breaking. Zhao Chen let out a painful scream, then fainted completely. After some unknown time, Zhao Chen woke up again. He felt as if he had slept for 100 years. But his whole body felt very comfortable. He looked around. The environment hadn't changed at all, but he felt like the world in his eyes was a little different from before. He couldn't quite say what was different. He stood up and looked at his body. His body looked almost the same as before, with the same perfect proportions and a strong, attractive appearance. Zhao Chen raised his hand and summoned a mirror. He looked at himself in the mirror. His eyes seemed deeper, and his body had some slight changes, but they weren't obvious on the surface. When Zhao Chen clenched his fist, he felt that his strength was now enough to crush the armor of a T1 starship with a single punch. He calmed his fighting desire inside, sitting cross-legged on the bed. Maybe because of the super soldier serum, he felt that some of his previous thoughts had changed a lot now. He quickly edited a message and sent it to Liyaki, telling her not to investigate his matters at the Northern Star Starship Military Academy anymore, or there would be consequences. Liyaki's involvement was something Zhao Chen couldn't let be exposed. It didn't matter if the other person knew his identity, but it was crucial that no one find out about his connection with Liyaki. So, he couldn't have any real contact with her. Then, he sent a message to Chu Xian. He told her that he had some ideas about the Chu family recruiting him and suggested meeting tonight to talk. I must give the Chu family an answer, or else Chu Xian will always feel uneasy being around me, Zhao Chen muttered. The attitude of the Chu family toward Zhao Chen is crucial for his future development. He must handle it carefully. A small mistake could lead to disaster. After sending these 2 messages, Zhao Chen checked the system rewards he had just received. Host, Zhao Chen Profession, Top Starship Engineer Special Attributes, Fleet Luck Bonus, Insightful I Points, 8,720 Mission Points, 64 Number of Starships, 30 Mission, Annual Mission, Incomplete, Warehouse, T2 Lion King Class Heavy Starship Missile Blueprints, T2 Snow Mastiff Class Heavy Starship Battleship Blueprints, T2 Black Knight Class Light Starfighter Mech Blueprints, T3 Andromeda Class Medical Starship Blueprints. With these points and mission points, he could easily exchange for a suitable T3 level starship. Zhao Chen already had a plan for which starship to choose. He looked at the 2 blueprints he just received, the T2 Snow Mastiff Class Heavy Starship Battleship and the T3 Andromeda Class Medical Starship. The T2 Snow Mastiff is a battleship designed for combat, with heavy armor and firepower. Its armor strength is so formidable that, ignoring size, It's comparable to the armor of starship escorts. Of course, Zhao Qin's T2 Black Rhinoceros is an exception. Currently, I have a T2 Queen B-class heavy carrier and a T2 Black Rhinoceros class heavy. The blueprints I have are for a T2 Lion King class heavy missile ship and a T2 Snow Mastiff class heavy battleship. These two ships will fill the gaps in my fleet. One provides long-range firepower, and the other is the main force for charging into battle and fighting enemies head-on. With these two added, my fleet will truly be complete, Zhao Qin muttered. A typical starship fleet usually needs at least 3 different types of ships working together to maximize combat advantage. Zhao Qin then looked at the T3 Andromeda, a support-type starship. Although not a combat ship, it is still essential on the battlefield. Although Zhao Qin's fleet has not experienced any casualties so far, who knows what might happen in the future? If there are injuries, a starship medical vessel will be needed for treatment. If every injured soldier is sent to the spaceport for care, it will be a significant expense. Moreover, prompt treatment can greatly reduce suffering and death rates among soldiers. Starship T2 is just a temporary solution. To truly establish ourselves in the Star Glory Empire, we need a large number of T3 starships, Zhao Qin said seriously. Based on what he learned from Chu Xian, the Imperial Navy has started to phase out T2 starships in favor of deploying more T3-level interstellar warships. This means that the era of T2 starships will soon be completely over in the national-level star battles. In the future, the battlefield will be between T3 and T4 starships. Not only the Star Glory Empire, but also other interstellar civilizations within the Galactic Alliance are planning their military upgrades in this direction. He must quickly advance to the T3 starship level. At this moment, Liyaki, who was studying Zhao Qin, received her third message from that mysterious person. When she saw the message, her expression became a little panicked, but she quickly calmed down. Her actions made that person uncomfortable. I was too reckless, Liyaki said, patting her head, which had been impulsive lately. She was eager to deepen her cooperation with that gentleman after obtaining the starship technology. But she forgot that if that person decided to end the partnership, she would have nowhere to turn for help. The initiative in this cooperation has always been in that person's hands, not hers. She knew she couldn't investigate further. She was close to crossing a line. Liyaki cursed her impulsiveness silently. However, one thing was certain. That person must be at Beiji Star Academy. Who exactly it is still remains uncertain. At this moment, Liyaki couldn't help but think of the young man named Zhao Qin. Many clues pointed to him. Is it really him? That night, Chu Xian booked a private room at a restaurant, and Zhao Qin arrived as planned. Honestly, I don't want to discuss family matters here, Chu Xian sighed. But unfortunately, I am Chu. As a friend, no matter what decision you make, I will do my best to get the best outcome for you from my grandfather. I don't want us to become enemies. Zhao Qin could tell that Chu Xian's words were sincere. During their recent interactions, he saw that Chu Xian was a woman who admired starships and had a strong belief in the military. But at the same time, she carried the responsibilities of her family. I also don't want to be against the Chu family, so Zhao Qin was about to speak when Chu Xian's terminal flashed with a red light. That indicated an important message. Chu Xian apologized to Zhao Qin, then checked her terminal. Her face suddenly changed color. Did something happen? Zhao Qin noticed her expression. Chu Xian looked at him with a complex expression. Zhao Qin, if I remember correctly, you have a sister named Zhao Wanner, right? Zhao Qin frowned. Yes, what happened to her? Come with me. We'll talk on the way. Chu Xian stood up hurriedly and left the restaurant with Zhao Qin, heading to a flying vehicle. Office of the Dean, Chu Xian input the location. What exactly happened? Zhao Qin asked in a deep voice. Recently, he had fully embraced his identity as Zhao Qin. He no longer knew if he was a time traveler, but that didn't matter. All he knew was that Zhao Wanner was his sister. Xiaolong Star System was his territory, and the Zhao family was his clan. Before I tell you, I hope you can stay calm. Chu Xian looked at Zhao Qin with concern. She took a deep breath and said seriously, I just received the latest news. About 5 hours ago, in the Blue Star region of the Western Star Zone, a Level 3 cosmic insect nest and 4 Level 2 cosmic insect nests appeared in the Water Lotus star system. Now, the entire star system is in chaos, and unfortunately, The joint interstellar mission organized by North Star Academy and Tianyao Academy is happening in this star system. An hour earlier, the fleet of both ships completely lost contact. Zhao Chun was struck like a thunderbolt. He immediately said, "Send help quickly. I remember there is a star gate in the Water Lotus star system." Chu Xian shook her head. Unfortunately, the first level, 3 cosmic wormhole appeared right around the Water Lotus star system stargate. Almost immediately, the stargate was lost and destroyed. This also prevented the Imperial reinforcements from using the stargate to quickly support the Water Lotus star system. They can only cross through neighboring star systems and interstellar space to reach it. Zhao Chen's face looked stiff. This news was like adding fuel to the fire. With the stargate destroyed, rescue efforts would take several days. During this time, the interstellar bugs could do a lot of damage. But Zhao Chen knew this was not the time to panic. He was silent for a moment, then raised his hand to bring up the star map of the blue star domain. As he looked at the data, he asked, "What about the troops stationed in the Water Lotus star system? According to the latest information, there are only 300 Lord-class starships and 100 Imperial starships there." The Imperial military is divided into 3 levels. The first level includes a small number of elite Imperial troops protecting the royal family in the Imperial capital, equipped with many T3 and T4 starships. These are the best of the best. The second level is the frontline Imperial forces, mainly T4 and T3 starships, with a few T2 starships. The third level consists of Imperial troops stationed in various territories, mainly T2 starships. A fleet of about 300 ships usually has fewer than 10 T3 starships. So, the combat strength of the Imperial forces in the Water Lotus star system. Chu Xian didn't finish her sentence, but Zhao Chun understood her meaning. He clenched his fists, suppressing his inner anxiety. Soon, the flying car arrived at the building where the dean's office was located. "Let's go see the dean first." The students trapped this time are the elites from the North Star Academy and Tianyao Academy. Both schools won't just sit back and do nothing. Maybe they have some ideas for rescue. Chu Xian comforted Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun didn't speak. He just followed Chu Xian into the dean's office. At this moment, the originally spacious dean's office now felt crowded and cramped. All the vice presidents and important mentors and professors were present, along with a star map of the blue star domain and a series of reports coming in. "Zhao Chun, why are you here?" Vice Dean Hong looked surprised when he saw Zhao Chun. He knew that Zhao Chen's sister was among the students who had encountered trouble, but normally, Zhao Chun, despite being an excellent student, wouldn't have been allowed to attend such a meeting. However, when he saw Chu Xian beside Zhao Chun, he said nothing more. Zhao Chun might not have the right to be here, but Chu Xian did. Recently, there were rumors in the academy that Chu Xian was Zhao Chen's girlfriend. Although the truth was uncertain, some rumors were not just made up. Moreover, the Chu family's attitude toward Zhao Chun was quite ambiguous. Dean Xin, my friend's sister, is also part of the interstellar mission fleet from the academy. "We want to know the current situation in the Water Lotus star system," Chu Xian said directly, crossing past other vice presidents and professors to approach an elderly dean. This was Zhao Chen's first time seeing the dean of the Northern Star Starship Military Academy face-to-face, a man over 100 years old. Don't underestimate this seemingly frail old man. He is said to be the chief designer of the T4 North Wind God-class heavy starship, responsible for its research and manufacturing. Among all starship designers in the Starry Empire, he ranks in the top 5 and is considered a national treasure. Dean Xin recognized Chu Xian and was familiar with the Chu family. He explained the current situation. The interstellar insect invasion had been ongoing for over 5 hours. They could still contact some areas of the Water Lotus star system that hadn't fallen yet. But since the Stargate was destroyed, the fastest Imperial military support would take at least 3 days to arrive. And that's just the time to cross interstellar border space. 3 days was a long time, and no one could guarantee what the Water Lotus star system would look like then. The Water Lotus star system has nearly 1 billion people. If just 1/10 of them fall prey to the interstellar insects, they could quickly reproduce more of these creatures, Dean Xin said grimly. So, the Imperial Army probably won't attack recklessly. They will need to mobilize several times the number of troops of the insects from the surrounding areas before they can start clearing them out, he added. During this time, won't you rescue the students trapped there? Zhao Chen asked, stepping forward to question. How can we save them? You must know there is a level 3 universe insect nest and 4 level 2 nests. This means there are at least 5 T3 mother ships, nearly 100 T2 ships, and over 1,000 T1 ships in the Lyra star system, a mentor said helplessly. But those are our best students. If all of them are lost, it will be a huge loss for our Northern Star Fleet Military Academy, a female mentor said with sadness. Who would have thought that in such a star system, 4 insect nests would suddenly appear, one of which is a level 3 nest? Vice Dean Hong sighed deeply. Chu Xian bit her lip lightly, looking at Zhao Chun with a complex expression. She didn't know how to comfort him now. From what we see, the students and teachers trapped are probably in very serious danger. Trigger task: rescue the trapped students of Northern Star Fleet Military Academy and Tianyao Noble Starship Military Academy. Task details: save the trapped students of Northern Star Fleet Military Academy and Tianyao Noble Starship Military Academy. Difficulty level B. Reward: 20 task points and 6,000 credits. Extra task: rescue at least 100 students and teachers including Zhao Wan'er, Su Lan, and Xue Xiaoxiao. Penalty: deduct 6,000 credits. Time limit: 100 hours. Suddenly, a system notification appeared in Zhao Chen's mind, making him startle. The system issued a rescue mission, which means this isn't an impossible rescue. After all, the system wouldn't give a task that can't be completed. And this was the first time the system set a detailed time limit, 100 hours. Does this mean Zhao Wan'er and the others won't be in danger for the next 100 hours? No, we can't give up, Zhao Chen said firmly. Right now, for those trapped students and teachers, we are their only hope. If we give up on them, who else can they rely on to save them? Hearing Zhao Chen speak so passionately, some mentors and professors were moved, but their faces still showed helplessness. Student, your idea is good, but reality is harsh. To be honest, our college also sent a fleet to provide support, but look, just look. This is the latest information we have about the Water Lotus Galaxy. Everywhere in this area, there are bugs. The last message sent by our trapped students was from this location. Unfortunately, it is right in the middle of the zone controlled by the insect race. Even if we send a large fleet to rescue them, rushing in would come at a huge cost. A mentor stepped forward seriously and said. Director Qin sighed deeply nearby, sitting in his chair, silent for a long time. For them, this has become a hopeless situation. From a big picture view, sending a fleet to support without enough ships is like sending them to their death. Losing a group of excellent students is bad enough, but now we want to send more into danger. No one dares to give such a rescue order hastily. Zhao Chun, stay calm. Maybe, after the Imperial fleet finishes gathering and clears out the bugs, your sister and the others might still survive. Chu Xian tried to comfort him, though she didn't believe her own words. It's too late. Even if their fleet hides somewhere safe, they can only hold out for about 5 days. And it will take at least 10 days for the Imperial fleet to gather and launch a full attack. By then, it will be too late, Zhao Chen argued. How can you be so stubborn? To save those who can't be saved anymore, sending more people to die, and you're satisfied with that? A mentor scolded angrily. The other teachers and professors around also shook their heads, helpless and sighing. A tragic atmosphere spread throughout the office. Are we sure this is the last contact point they had? Zhao Chen pointed to a spot marked on the holographic star map. Around that point, there are many dense red dots. These are all the Starship Insect Race intelligence reports from the still unfallen parts of the Water Lotus Galaxy. That was an hour ago. Their last contact was from this location. The intelligence says their fleet encountered a fierce attack by the insect race, with over 80% of their starships damaged in the battle. They requested our support. Since then, communication has been cut off. The interstellar Zerg has a natural biological magnetic field. When their density reaches a certain level, it can block signals and even act as a warp interference device. Depending on the situation, if they are still alive, they should be nearby. If I were them, I would choose to land on a planet, use the remaining starship weapons to defend there, and wait for help. Vice Dean Hong analyzed nearby. Zhao Chen stared at the star map, standing still like a meditating monk. All right, student. We understand how you feel. Let the teachers handle this. You can go out now. A mentor comforted Zhao Chun. I have a plan, Zhao Chen suddenly spoke. But the teachers and professors present only thought he was worried and talking nonsense. First, we used the fastest starship to reach the stargate closest to the Water Lotus star system, then cross the interstellar boundary space. After that, we continue using the warp drive to get as close as possible to that location. Because of the Zerg, warp travel can't take us directly to the destination, so we will use the normal engines to pass through the bugs and reach the target. Find the stranded teachers and students, get everyone on the starship, and evacuate quickly. Compared to moving a fleet, rescuing with just a few ships or even one starship is the fastest and most efficient way. Zhao Chen shared his idea and drew a line on the star map. The red line crossed the area with the fewest Zerg according to the intelligence. Are you joking? Relying on a single starship to cross the swarm. Even a T4 class starship wouldn't be confident about that, let alone most T4 ships are under the Empire's control. They wouldn't risk sending a T4 starship just to save these students, a mentor argued. Each T4 starship is very important to the Empire. Although the students are the Empire's future, if one is lost, they can still be replaced, right? No need for a T4 starship, just a fast T3 starship is enough, Zhao Chen insisted. It's too risky. I don't agree with this rescue plan. It's too idealistic. One mistake, and it's like moths to a flame. A fast starship, like a star cruiser? But how to break through the swarm? That's unrealistic. Listening to these mentors and professors relying on their instincts to judge that Zhao Chen's plan is impossible and too naive was frustrating. Zhao Chen frowned. He glanced at everyone present. He knew he couldn't persuade them, and he also knew that his next actions would be very risky. The secrets he might reveal could put him in danger. But there are some things he must do. Zhao Chen said seriously. In the universe, isn't every mission risky? If we only do safe and steady things, our ancestors wouldn't have left their planets to explore space, cross star systems, and start the interstellar age. I won't wait for others to rescue people. I will go myself. After speaking, Zhao Chen turned angrily and left the office. As he stepped out, he sent a message to Charlotte, who was at the Xianglong base. Immediately send the T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battleship to the Star Harbor of Beiji Star Academy to pick me up. Zhao Chen planned to use the T3 Blizzard ship for this rescue mission because, in his earlier plan, the T3 Blizzard was the best choice. But this meant Zhao Chen would face great danger. First, there was the risk of the rescue mission itself. Second, there was the risk of exposing that he owned a T3 class starship. He had previously owned an unknown origin T2 starship, but now he revealed a T3 starship of unknown origin. This would definitely attract attention, especially during such a large rescue operation. It was impossible to hide it. But, as Zhao Chen just said, some things, even knowing the danger and risks, must be done. Zhao Chen jumped into a flying car and entered the destination at the Star Harbor. Footsteps sounded behind him. Chu Xian hurried to catch up. Before the car started, she and Zhao Chen both got in. Zhao Chen, you need to stay calm. I know you're worried about your sister's safety, but you also need to think about yourself. The teacher's words may seem harsh, but this is reality. Do you want your sister to find out that you risked your life to save her? If that's the case, I believe your sister wouldn't want to see you do this. I will try to contact the Imperial Army and ask them to speed up the gathering of their fleet. We could even form a quick rescue team to support the rescue plan you mentioned earlier. I can also ask my grandfather to send over a T4 starship. Please give me some time. The hover car set off toward the starport as Zhao Chen planned, heading straight there. Zhao Chen looked at Chu Xian and said, right now, what we need most is time. Maybe everything you just said is possible, but it will take too long. My sister and the others can't wait. But Chu Xian still wanted to persuade Zhao Chen. Chu Xian, if you want to help me, please do one thing, Zhao Chen said seriously. You say it, and I will do my best to help, Chu Xian replied sincerely. Zhao Chen said, please tell your grandfather, Governor Chu He, that I am willing to cooperate with the Chu family. This isn't about cooperation right now. It's about the situation at hand. Just as Chu Xian was speaking, the hover car arrived at its destination. Zhao Chen jumped out and headed toward the starport dock. Chu Xian followed closely behind. Even if you want to rescue people, how can you do it with just your two T2 starships? I'm not planning to use the T2 starships to rescue anyone. Zhao Chen stopped and looked out through the transparent glass window of the starport corridor at the universe outside. At that moment, a huge interstellar battleship appeared outside the North Star Academy starport, but it didn't enter the port. It just hovered there. Just hovering, it looked like a shining star. That is, Chu Xian looked at the blue and white painted interstellar battleship in surprise. The captain was about a kilometer away. The entire ship had a graceful arc, like a sharp sword or an arrow. On the ship, you could see a main cannon, several secondary guns, missile launchers, and other weapon modules. Honestly, when Chu Xian first saw this battleship, she was amazed by its design. It was truly beautiful. Among all the interstellar ships she had seen, none were more beautiful than this one. It looked like a holy maiden. "Commander, we are here." At this moment, a call was heard. A shuttlecraft was already parked at the quick entrance of the space station. Officer Lilius waved continuously at Zhao Chun. This shuttle was from the T-2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. Zhao Chun had already told Lilius to wait here and pilot the shuttle. "Everything will be discussed after I return," Zhao Chun said. He hurriedly ran toward the shuttle and entered the cabin. "Hurry, let's go." Because docking and departing from the T-3 Blizzard required a lot of time, Zhao Chun decided not to let the T-3 Blizzard enter. Instead, he transferred to the shuttle. "Is that starship really yours?" "That's the T-3 starship, right?" Just as the shuttle was taking off, a voice came from behind Zhao Chun. He turned around quickly and was surprised to see Chu Xian on the spaceship. "How did you get on here?" Zhao Chun asked in surprise. Chu Xian spread her hands. "My grandfather told me to watch over you, so I naturally had to follow. Do you even know where I'm going?" "Would your grandfather really let you come on such a dangerous trip?" Zhao Chun replied. If Governor Chu he knew, he definitely wouldn't let Chu Xian be so reckless. This time's danger level was far higher than the previous incident with the second-level cosmic insect nest. "I'm just following my grandfather's orders," Chu Xian said. "Besides, with me, the young lady of the Chu family, accompanying you, it will be much easier to go to the Lotus Star system. Otherwise, you'd have to queue up at the star gates passing through other star systems. You said it yourself. Time is the most important thing now." Zhao Chun covered his face, thinking that this young lady was truly crazy. He looked seriously at Chu Xian. "Are you sure you want to come with me? You should know I'm heading into a place occupied by interstellar insects. I can't guarantee your safety. If you regret it, you can still turn back now and fly the shuttle back." Chu Xian also looked at Zhao Chun seriously. "I am serious too. The teachers and students in the fleet are the future elites of the Empire. As an Empire soldier, I have a duty to protect their safety. So please let me join this rescue mission. I will follow your orders and do my best to help with my abilities." Almost forgot, she was a young lady with a strong sense of justice. However, Chu Xian's words just now were also correct. Having her here can indeed save a lot of trouble. "Then you stay by my side and do not leave my sight. Do you understand?" Zhao Chun said seriously. "Yes, Commander." Chu Xian straightened up, placing her hand over her chest, and saluted Zhao Chun with a proper military salute. "Exactly. What's the name of this T-3 starship?" Chu Xian pointed at the interstellar battleship they were flying toward. "It's a Storm Blizzard-class light interstellar battleship. Look, that one over there looks like a T-3 starship. This interstellar battleship is so beautiful. I've never seen this type before. That emblem on the starship looks so familiar. I think I've seen it somewhere before." Many people at the Northern Star Academy saw the starship parked in space, a ship they had never seen before. Zhang Sasa looked at the starship. When she saw the familiar emblem, her expression became very interesting. It was the Howling Dragon badge. How could a poor star system like the Howling Dragon have a T-3 level starship? Zhang Sasa looked up through the Academy's transparent dome at the starship. She didn't want to believe that this T-3 starship belonged to that man. "Dean, there's an unknown T-3 starship outside our Academy's spaceport. According to the fleet emblem on the ship, the database shows it belongs to the Howling Dragon star system." An assistant hurried into the dean's office, nervously reporting the news. "Howling Dragon star system? Isn't that Zhao Chun's territory?" Vice Dean Hong exclaimed. Dean Sheen raised his hand and brought up the scene outside the Academy spaceport, projecting a hologram of the starship. Such a beautiful starship. The streamlined design is very good. Under normal engine operation, it can greatly increase speed. Looking at the ship's structure, it should be a starship battleship cruiser. The teachers and professors present quickly analyzed the starship. Everyone, now is not the time to study starships. This is probably Zhao Chen's ship. Judging by his earlier actions, he intends to pilot this starship to the Lotus water system to save people. Vice Dean Hong said anxiously. Even if this is a T3 starship, there are many interstellar bugs there. A single starship rushing in would be crushed to pieces. Zhao Chen has some talent, but he is also too reckless. However, he is a promising young talent. This time, most of the elite students from the two academies' fleets were lost in the crisis. We can't just watch a good young talent go to his death. Dean Sheen nodded and said, find a way to stop this starship. We will plan carefully to rescue the fleet. Yes. Inside the office, teachers and professors were still discussing how to handle this incident. Meanwhile, Zhao Chun and others took a shuttle into the T3 Storm Snow hangar. Hurry, let's go to the command bridge. Zhao Chun got out of the shuttle and immediately walked out of the hangar. Although this was his first time on the T3 Storm Snow-class light interstellar battleship, he was already familiar with many areas and functions. Outside the hangar, Zhao Chun quickly used his authority to call a magnetic levitation elevator. The T3 Storm Snow is less than a kilometer long, but inside it twists and turns. From the stern to the bow, it takes at least 10 minutes to walk. This can cause delays in urgent situations. So, inside the starship, there is a special magnetic levitation elevator, like a crystal-clear elevator, where you can say the department you want to go to, and you will arrive within a minute. Such a beautiful interior space, Chu Xian said, marveling at the view through the transparent glass of the elevator. She was once again amazed by the ship's interior. It's hard to imagine this is a combat starship. It looks more like a piece of art. But when Chu Xian stepped onto the bridge, she was even more shocked. The entire bridge is an oval structure, surrounded by holographic projections of the outside starship environment, giving a feeling of being in space. The bridge is divided into 5 levels, with each department responsible for its own tasks, ensuring the starship's operation. The captain's seat is in the center of the bridge, with a clear view of all departments. Like the ship's exterior paint, the interior and the bridge are mainly white and blue, creating a very comfortable feeling. Commander, the T3 Blizzard 1 ship is ready. Please give your orders, Charlotte said, standing in front of Zhao Chun. Before this, Zhao Chun had already sent her all the details of the mission. Although the mission is risky, as a good subordinate, she understands that obeying orders is a soldier's duty. You will be the deputy captain, and Lilith will serve as the secretary. Immediately plan the route to the stargate closest to the Lotus star system. Then head to the outer area of the interstellar insect control zone within the Lotus system, Zhao Chun said, walking directly to the captain's chair and sitting down. Charlotte and Lilith stood on either side of Zhao Chun. Lilith quickly planned the best route, taking charge of her task. Charlotte reported on the T3 Blizzard status. The Blizzard 1 has only completed 30% of its test voyage, but the ship is operating normally. All crew members are from the original Zero Blizzard, along with some veteran orcs with many years of service. The starship's combat readiness is fully prepared. All supplies inside the ship are sufficient, and there is no problem conducting a large-scale battle, since many of the combat systems and modules on Zero Blizzard are similar to those on T3 Blizzard. Charlotte had trained a group of reserve crew members on Zero Blizzard beforehand. After T3 Blizzard was put into service, these crew members could directly work on the ship. Zhao Chun nodded with satisfaction. With Charlotte handling these matters, he really had much less to worry about. He then opened the data page for T3 Blizzard. Storm Snow-class light interstellar battleship ship type. Interstellar battleship cruiser technology level. T3 hull armor strength. 1,500 to 1,800 units star shield energy. 13,000 units cruising speed. 210 star knots warp drive. Level 6 warp engine captain's length. 998 meters mass. 300,000 tons crew. 200 personnel ship weapons. 1 Storm Snow-class heavy cluster laser main cannon. 4 2,500 mm medium caliber electromagnetic cannons. 16 medium pulse laser secondary guns. 72 medium close defense guns. For starship missile launchers. 50 Storm Snow-class light star missiles. 50 Storm Snow star drone special features. Storm Snow Extreme Cruise Mode. Zhao Chun glanced over, feeling satisfied. Although the Storm Snow is officially a light starship, its weapon modules are comparable to those of a heavy starship. The weapons are very diverse, making it suitable for all-around combat. For example, this solo rescue mission is perfect for it. Most importantly, the T3 Storm Snow has a special feature called Storm Snow Extreme Cruise Mode. This mode allows the ship to triple to 5 times its normal speed using standard engines. Its speed can even match current T4-star cruisers. This is why Zhao Chun is confident in completing this rescue mission. Report to the commander. We will take about 35 hours to pass through 19 cosmic gates and reach the Blue Field star system in the Blue Planet sector. The Blue Planet sector is currently the closest to the Water Lotus star system. After arriving in the Blue Planet sector, we can use warp travel to reach the outer areas controlled by the insectoid fleet in about a day and a half. Then, we will use the regular engines to head to the last known coordinates of the two-planet fleet. The entire journey is expected to take at least 3 days. Lilith quickly marked her detailed route on the star map and reported to Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun looked over, and the plan was roughly the same as his initial idea. 3 days means 72 hours. Since there are 100 hours in total, Zhao Chun still has 28 hours left. Follow this route and set out. Zhao Chun issued the navigation command. Charlotte and Lilith immediately began executing the order. The warp engine route is prepared. Next, we will enter the acceleration phase. In 10 minutes, we will switch to warp travel. All crew members, enter deep sea mode within 10 minutes. Repeat, all crew members, enter deep sea mode within 10 minutes. On the bridge, white jade-like sleep pods appeared one after another. The adventure voyage begins now. The target, the insect swarm. Blue Star Domain Water Lotus star system, a certain planet at this moment. The sky seemed to be dyed blood red, with starships exploding and falling to the ground due to insect attacks, and starfighter ships still fighting desperately. In the city, battle armor and ground troops are also fighting fiercely against the invading insect ground units. In a mountain range, a T3 starship lies across a ridge, heavily damaged in many places, with flames still flickering. Nearby, wreckage of several T2 starships can be seen. Warning! Warning! Fire in compartment K931, automatic fire suppression activated. Warning! Warning! Oxidizer leak in compartment T711. Starship engineers, please repair immediately. Warning! Warning! Dangerous gas levels in compartment N771, possible explosion. Personnel in surrounding compartments, evacuate immediately. The starship's bridge is in chaos, with alarms ringing constantly. At 13 o'clock outside the starship, ground units of the insect swarm have been spotted. Deploy mech units and ground combat troops for full alert. Report, we still cannot contact the outside world. We can only communicate with the planet's defense department. The latest message from the planet's defense department states that the patrol fleet has suffered over 50% damage. Without support, they will be wiped out within 20 hours. Additionally, the planet's ground military facilities will fall completely within the next 60 hours. A woman with a bandaged forehead is at the captain's station. Her expression is serious, her eyes filled with tension and worry, but she tries to stay calm and issue commands as best as she can. Contact the nearby downed starships to see if there are any survivors. Perform emergency repairs inside the starship. Lock down high-risk compartments that cannot be repaired immediately. Most importantly, check the starship's weapons and how many personal weapons are left. Arm the personnel who are able to fight. Concentrate the injured in one place. The woman kept giving orders. The able-bodied students and staff around her were also carrying out these commands. In this way, the tense situation inside the starship was somewhat eased. Report to Teacher Chin. Currently, we have confirmed 237 survivors, including 17 seriously injured and 57 lightly injured. We found the bodies of 61 victims. Sulan ran to Teacher Chin and reported the current situation. Teacher Chin clenched her fists, her expression full of guilt and pain. She is a female teacher at the Northern Star Academy and the leader of this interstellar mission involving 2 academies. But who would have thought that this seemingly ordinary interstellar mission would face such a situation? If she hadn't led most of her students to retreat onto this T3 night-class medium starship, which was the top prize for this mission, she and her students might have been in great danger. Teacher Qin looked at the students, half of whom were sitting in corners, mostly still shaken. Only a few had strong mental resilience. Most looked like frightened birds. In a short time, we are not in immediate danger. But to hold on until reinforcements arrive, we must restore everyone's confidence as soon as possible. Only then do we have a hope to survive. Teacher Chung, please have the students from Tianyao Academy cooperate with us too, Teacher Qin said, looking at Teacher Chung, who appeared somewhat dazed. Teacher Chung is the leader of Tianyao Academy. Perhaps he was frightened during the emergency landing, as his expression still looked dazed. Okay. Teacher Chung nodded foolishly and walked toward his students, but his unsteady legs showed his nervousness and fear. Sulan, thank you for your hard work. You should rest now. We probably won't be in danger for a short time. Teacher Qin looked at Sulan, but her eyes showed some helplessness. The duration of this short time depends on how long the planet's defense forces can hold out. When the alien insect army finally arrives on this planet, it will be like the end of the world for them. Teacher Qin, you also need to rest. You are injured, so take care of your health, Sulan said kindly. Then Sulan left the command deck and entered a room where wounded people were being cared for. She could hear the painful cries of students and teachers. Once, these students were so delicate, but now they looked so helpless, like babies crying in their parents' arms. Some of them were indeed calling out for their parents. A few busy figures were helping teachers treat the injured. Hold her foot steady, Zhao Wanner told Xue Xiaoxiao nearby. Xue Xiaoxiao swallowed hard and pressed her hand on the girl's bloody, mangled leg. Zhao Wanner sprayed a quick clotting medicine on the wound, which could stop bleeding and numb the pain temporarily. But to fully heal, better medical equipment was needed. After finishing, Zhao Wanner wiped the sweat from her forehead. Wanner, most of the injured are taken care of. You should rest now, Sulan said kindly. Zhao Wanner shook her head and forced a small smile. I learned some first aid at the academy. I can help a little, so I will. Senior Sister Sulan, do you think we can still survive and leave? The alien insect army is so terrifying. Swarms of them. Xue Xiaoxiao recalled the scene when their fleet was attacked by the insect army in space. Some of the insects even entered the spaceship, and some of the teachers and students injured here were harmed by those insects. Thinking about it now makes her scalp tingle. Xue Xiaoxiao muttered softly. I haven't even seen the giant cannon on a T-4-star battleship. I don't want to die. Sulan hugged her two best friends and comforted them. Don't worry. The Academy has already received our distress signal. They will send a fleet to rescue us. Ha ha ha. Dream on. We've been completely abandoned. A sarcastic voice came from nearby. Sulan frowned as she looked over, and it was Zhou Min, the one who had fought Zhao Wanner in the starship duel earlier. Zhou Min only had a small injury on her left arm, wrapped in a bandage. But she hid in this place meant for injured people to avoid outside work demands. Zhou Min, everyone must hold on to hope. Only then can we have a chance to leave here alive. Zhao Wanner stood up and stared at Zhou Min. Zhou Min suddenly laughed wildly. Hope? Hope? There is no hope here. Haven't you heard? The Stargate in the Lotus Water Galaxy has been destroyed by the interstellar bugs. Although we escaped to this planet, it will soon fall too. We can't use the Stargate. The fastest rescue fleet can only reach the Lotus Water Galaxy by crossing the galaxy's edge space. How long would that take? 3 days? 5 days? A week? Moreover, now everywhere is infested with interstellar bugs. Neither the Empire's military nor the leadership of the two councils would risk more to save us. Don't expect any hope. We have been completely abandoned. As she spoke, Zhou Min burst into despairing tears. Hearing Zhou Min's words, Zhao Wanner showed a look of disgust. She firmly said, I believe someone will come to save us. When Zhao Wanner said this, for some reason, she thought of that figure. Will he come to save me? Right now, the Bluefield Galaxy, being the closest neighboring galaxy to the Lotus Water Galaxy, had its Stargate already commandeered by the Empire's military. Over 80% of the transport capacity was used to move the Empire's fleet. At the same time, many Empire warships were entering the edge of interstellar space near the connection between the Bluefield Galaxy and the Lotus Water Galaxy, heading toward the Lotus Water Galaxy. The Bluefield Galaxy had also activated a Level 1 combat readiness state. The Lord's fleet was fully cooperating with the Empire's fleet, while trying to mobilize all resources to support the Empire's ships. If the interstellar bugs in the Lotus Water Galaxy aren't controlled, the bug disaster could spread, and the first to suffer would be their blue field galaxy. Among these Empire fleets, a blue and white starship with sleek, curved lines appeared. Its different paint job made it stand out sharply among the others. "Commander, we have successfully reached the boundary space between the Lanteon and Water Lily star systems," Lilith reports to Zhao Chun. Looking at the dark, starless boundary space ahead, Zhao Chun turns to Chu Xian and says, "You still have the right to regret now." From the North Wind Star region's North Star System to the Blue Ocean Star region's Lanteon Star System. Thanks to Chu Xian's status as the eldest daughter of the Chu family, Zhao Chen's T3 Storm-level light interstellar battlecruiser was able to arrive so quickly, especially during the final part of requesting to use the Lanteon Star System Stargate. Because the Stargate in Lanteon was requisitioned by the Empire's military, most civilian starship applications were rejected. It was only through Chu Xian's intervention that they gained top priority and smoothly arrived at Lanteon. "I've never known how to spell regret," Chu Xian says with a fearless smile. "Charlotte, recheck all the modules of the ship," Zhao Chun orders seriously. This is the first official combat voyage of the T3 Storm. Before this, the test runs were not fully completed. Although he trusts his technical blueprints and the quality of the T2 Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ship. But caution is still necessary. Yes, Charlotte immediately begins the check. Soon she reports, "All departments of the ship are fine. Everything is functioning normally, no issues." Zhao Chun takes a deep breath. "Activate the Level 6 warp drive. Prepare to cross the interstellar boundary space. The warp drive route has been prepared. Next, we will enter the acceleration phase. In 10 minutes, we will switch to warp travel. All crew members must enter deep-sea mode within 10 minutes. Repeat, all crew must enter deep-sea mode within 10 minutes. Remember, we are about to enter a combat zone. After exiting deep-sea mode, all personnel must return to their battle stations within 1 minute." Understood. Charlotte's serious voice echoes through all sections of the starship. Almost all female crew members respond in unison. Understood. Although Zhao Chun and others on the bridge cannot hear this voice. Zhao Chun lay down in the sleep pod. The T3 Snowstorm's sleep chamber was very comfortable, and the feeling of a hangover after waking up was much less intense. During this faster-than-light journey, we will spend 35 hours crossing the edge of interstellar space and directly reach the border area controlled by the insectoid race, Lilith told Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun nodded and closed his eyes. The advantage of a level 6 faster-than-light engine is that it can greatly shorten travel time. If Zhao Chen's T3 Snowstorm departs from the Arctic Fox star system heading to the Eagle Dragon star system, it would take less than 2 days. For example, traveling from one point to another, a level 1 faster-than-light engine takes 100 days, a level 2 engine takes 50 days, level 3 takes 25 days, level 4 takes 12 days, and so on. Usually, T1 starships are equipped with level 1 or level 2 engines, while T2 starships have level 3 or level 4 engines. Zhao Chen's T3 Snowstorm is equipped with a level 6 engine. The invention of the faster-than-light engine, beyond Stargate technology, greatly reduces the distance between star systems. Zhao Chun remembered the time, 35 hours. "Little sister, wait a moment for your older brother." Under the hypnosis of the sleep pod, Zhao Chun fell into sleep. After an unknown amount of time, a voice sounded in his ear, and Zhao Chun immediately woke up. "Snowstorm Intelligence System reminder. The ship has exited faster-than-light travel mode and has arrived at the designated location, now in autopilot mode." After a 3-day journey from the Northern Star System, Zhao Chen's T3 Snowstorm finally reached the Water Lotus Star System. The moment Zhao Chen opened his eyes, he was back in his captain's chair. Within just a few seconds, the entire bridge returned to combat readiness as it was before sleep. "Activate Starship Radar, scan the surroundings immediately. Open communication channels to receive all signals around us," Lilith ordered consecutively. "Report, Starship Radar scan complete. No suspicious targets detected within the radar range. Report, we have picked up some faint communication signals. They are all distress signals from nearby planets." The Lord Fleet of the Water Lotus Galaxy and the Imperial Fleet have abandoned this area, choosing to hold the remaining one-third of the region and wait for reinforcements, the crew reported. Zhao Qian opened the star map, where 2 points flickered. One point was where Zhao Qian's T3 blizzard was located, and the other was the last communication point of the two fleets. Now, we face our biggest challenge. There may be a large number of interstellar insects ahead. We need to find a way to cross this insect swarm, Chu Xian said seriously. They only have one spaceship. If the T3 blizzard gets entangled with the insects during the journey, there will only be one result. Is there any other way? Just rush through, Zhao Qian said calmly. Chu Xian stared at Zhao Qian in surprise. Was he being so direct? We don't know where the insect swarms are spread out. We can only gamble on our luck now. The shortest route is between these 2 points. We bet on this line, Zhao Qian said, looking at Charlotte. Prepare to activate Blizzard's extreme cruise mode. Charlotte nodded and gave the order. Captain's command. Prepare to activate Blizzard's extreme cruise mode. Extreme cruise mode for Blizzard? Chu Xian was stunned. What kind of technology was that? Could this technology allow them to directly pass through the insect swarm? Preparing to activate Blizzard's extreme cruise mode. The preparation phase will take 100 seconds, reported the crew member operating the Starship module. At this moment, Chu Xian noticed through the surrounding holographic images that the surface of the T3 Blizzard's hull was beginning to change. Some of the weapons exposed on the outside of the ship suddenly retracted and were covered by a layer of hull armor. The main cannon, secondary guns, missile silos, closed defense guns, and others all retracted and hid away. From an external view, the T3 Blizzard now looked almost like a smooth, streamlined surface, with no protruding parts or exposed weapon systems. All weapon modules retracted. Beginning Starship acceleration, the bridge crew reported. At this moment, a new data panel appeared in front of Zhao Qian. The data panel mainly displayed the flight path, current speed, and the Starship's model. At this moment, the ship was moving at 210 knots of star speed. From then on, the speed began to rise rapidly. In just 10 seconds, it jumped from 210 to 400 knots. Chu Xian widened her eyes. She had seen ships capable of extreme acceleration before, but doubling the speed in an instant was unbelievable. This engine was far too powerful. Wait, the acceleration wasn't stopping. 430, 450, 470, 490. Chu Xian swallowed nervously and asked, "What is the maximum speed of this ship?" Zhao Qian turned to Charlotte. Charlotte shook her head and said, "Theoretically, it can go more than 3 times faster, but our test flights haven't reached that stage yet. This is the first time we're traveling at such speed." The first time? Chu Xian was stunned. Wait, did she just say more than 3 times faster? If the normal cruising speed was 210 knots, that meant the T3 Blizzard's engines could push it beyond 600 knots. As far as she knew, no T3 class starship in the entire Starshine Empire had ever reached even 400 knots with its standard engines. At that moment, through the data panel's display, Zhao Qian and the others saw a dark mass ahead. There was no doubt, those were the Zerg. Activate the forward star shield. All crew, prepare for impact. Zhao Qian commanded. Lilith immediately relayed the order. A semi-transparent shield appeared at the front of the T3 Blizzard. Warning, warning. Star shield under impact. Energy reduced to 99.99%. As the system's alert sounded, Zhao Qian and the others thought they saw something flash across the screen, perhaps a T1 Flyer or a T2 Stinger. But it no longer mattered. Those creatures had already been reduced to dust. Chu Xian's heartbeat raced wildly, just like the red numbers climbing sharply on the data panel. 600 knots of speed. My goodness, it's still accelerating. I will handle the spaceship's navigation, Charlotte said, taking charge of flying the T3 Blizzard. She focused on the spaceship's radar. The T3 Blizzard's radar was working very fast, constantly updating information about objects it detected. At this extreme speed, just by watching the outside video, a small asteroid that was far away could suddenly appear right in front of them. So, they had to rely on the spaceship's radar to plan the route early. Although there was a shield to protect the spaceship, they needed to use as little shield energy as possible before reaching their destination. After all, who knew what might be waiting for them there? Report. A T2 mothership has been detected ahead, surrounded by several interstellar insect units. The navigation assistant reported to Charlotte. Charlotte looked at the radar and quickly decided on the best route. The ship was pointed directly at the T2 mothership. This scene looked very familiar, but this time, it was even more intense. In space, the T2 mothership was drifting, searching for the next planet to haunt. Suddenly, it seemed to be hit hard, breaking in the middle, with pieces of flesh flying out and hitting nearby T1 flying insects and T2 spear snakes. These T1 insects and T2 spear snakes stared in shock at the T2 mothership, which had lost all control and become a wreck. They stood there blankly, not understanding what had just happened. They only felt like a big shadow swooped past, and then their mothership was gone. Warning! Warning! The shield was hit. Shield energy is now at 96%, the system announced. Hitting the T2 mothership slowed down the T3 Blizzard's acceleration a little, but it quickly sped up again. The speed display now showed 700 knots. How fast can this spaceship really go? Chu Xian asked, curious, looking at Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun shrugged. Just try it and see. He only knew the theoretical maximum speed. He didn't have a detailed estimate of how fast it could actually go. Listening to this calm and lighthearted response, Chu Xian really didn't know how to complain. She only knew that the Holy Light Empire within the Galactic Alliance had a T4 Holy Wisdom Light-class light interstellar cruiser. Its maximum speed under normal engines was said to reach 950 knots. That was the fastest speed achieved after removing engine restrictions. So far, no starship had ever broken through the 1,000-knot mark. Chu Xian was staring intently at the flickering red number. Could this T3 starship really outrun the T4 starship? Her intuition told her it was impossible, but she still hoped it could happen. Speed reached 750 knots. 1 minute later, it hit 800 knots. It kept accelerating. Chu Xian held her breath, her hands clenched tightly without realizing. Speed hit 850 knots. The crew nearby reported that there were signs of insect swarms ahead, but Chu Xian no longer cared. She only focused on the speed. Speed reached 900 knots. The dense insect swarms were suddenly pushed out, creating a clear vacuum zone. From a bird's-eye view, it looked like a dirty ground being dragged out to leave a clean trail. Speed hit 930 knots. Chu Xian stared fixedly at the number, as if everything around her no longer mattered. Speed reached 940 knots. This T3 Blizzard-class light starship cruiser was truly about to make history. 950 knots. Chu Xian couldn't help but shout excitedly. But she awkwardly noticed that Zhao Chun and the other crew members around her looked completely calm. It was as if she was the only one who had never seen such a thing. What was going on with them? Weren't they excited too? This speed matched the fastest of T4 starships, and it was achieved by a T3 starship. If this news got out, it would shake the entire Starshine Empire. But matching isn't enough. Surpassing would be better. If they could break 1,000 knots, that would be a historic achievement. Chu Xian kept watching the speed with anticipation. 955 knots. Just as she was hoping to increase her speed further, suddenly, the ship's speed began to decrease. Why is the speed dropping now? Chu Xian asked instinctively. Zhao Chen looked at her with a silly expression and pointed at the star map. Can't you see we're almost at the last signal coordinates of the two-ship fleet? Only then did Chu Xian realize that, because she was so focused on the speed earlier, on the star map, the cursor representing the starship and the last known coordinates of the fleet were now very close. She felt a bit embarrassed and didn't say anything, secretly feeling regretful for not witnessing the starship's fastest speed. From what she observed earlier, under the extreme storm cruise mode, the T3 Blizzard should still have some energy left, and it was very likely capable of exceeding 1,000 knots. Begin to exit the Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode, Charlotte ordered. Understood, exiting and shutting down Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode, the crew reported. Because of the high speed, slowing down wasn't instant. It took several minutes to reduce the speed to 210 knots. Following the pre-planned route, once the speed returned to normal, the position of T3 Blizzard was exactly at the last signal coordinates of the fleet. Report, Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode has been turned off. Report, the starship's weapon modules are deploying. With the exit from the cruise mode, T3 Blizzard's weapons reappeared. At the same time, multiple energy signals appeared on the starship's radar. Report: 3 T2 Hive mothership signals and 12 T1 Hive mothership signals detected from 3 directions. These swarms are heading toward us. The first wave is expected to encounter our ship within half an hour. Secretary Lily reports an important message. This is a critical moment. The starship Zhaochun is now in the midst of a hive, and they must quickly find the teachers and students of the fleet to evacuate. Every minute of delay increases the danger. Scan the surrounding planets, check all communication frequencies, and broadcast on all channels, Zhaochun ordered. The magnetic field of the interstellar insect race can interfere with signals, but if the distance is close enough, some signals can still be received. He looked at the star map. In this area, there is 1 planet, 2 dwarf planets, 4 moons, and 180 small asteroids. If the 2 fleet ships are really here, this search area is quite large. But now, Zhaochun and his team can only wait. Time slowly passes. 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. During this time, Zhaochun and his team did receive several communication signals, but they were all distress signals from the local residents of the Water Lotus star system or interstellar forces. Zhaochun couldn't help these people. His current ability was only enough to save his sister and complete system tasks. 7 minutes. 8 minutes. In the distance, the insect swarm on the starship radar is getting closer. If they get entangled with these insects, it would be very dangerous for the T3 blizzard. Snakes. We are survivors from the Northern Star, from the Academy and Tianyao Academy fleets. We request assistance. We request assistance. Suddenly, the communications officer shouted happily, "Commander, we've received a message from the 2 fleet ships. Connect immediately and lock onto the communication coordinates," Zhaochun ordered right away. A video call window appeared in front of Zhaochun, but it was blurry, and he couldn't see the other person's face clearly. "Great. Someone finally received our distress signal. Are you here to rescue our Imperial fleet?" The other side's excited voice came through, clearly indicating they were from the Imperial Rescue Fleet. "We are not from the Empire." Before Zhaochun could finish, the communication was cut off. "What happened?" Zhaochun frowned and looked at the communications officer. The officer looked overwhelmed and said, "Not sure, but it seems something went wrong on their side. The communication was cut off unilaterally. But I already locked onto their coordinates based on their signal," he added. It was the 7th planet of the Water Lotus star system. Zhaochun immediately pulled up the star map. The 7th planet of the Water Lotus star system. He pointed at the planet on the map. Unfortunately, it was right at the edge of the radar detection range of their T3 Blizzard starship. Fortunately, the direction of the insect swarm was not where the main forces were. "Move in immediately," Zhaochun ordered. The T3 Blizzard quickly headed toward the 7th planet. Thanks to its high speed, it arrived at the planet's location very fast. From above, you could see several T1 Hive motherships on the planet's surface, along with many spaceship wrecks, indicating a fierce battle had taken place. There was even a huge scar on the surface, like a red iron chain striking the planet. But upon closer inspection, it wasn't a scar at all, but a fallen space elevator. It seemed the planet's space defenses had completely fallen, and ground combat was now underway. For the interstellar insect race, ground battles are usually their main battlefield. Unless you conduct orbital bombardments, it's very hard to defeat the large ground forces of the insect race without deploying a lot of troops. "Can we lock onto the exact location?" Zhaochun asked Lily. Lily quickly brought up the detailed coordinates of the signal on this planet. It was located between some mountains and rivers. Oh no, the sensors detected a large gathering of ground insect troops around the signal, and there's also a small group of insects at the signal point. Based on energy fluctuations, they seemed to be in a fierce fight. Lily reported nervously, "Commander, although entering the planet's atmosphere is very dangerous for our ships, it's the fastest way to rescue people right now. Without using ships, our shuttles can't get through," Charlotte warned. Zhaochun looked at the swarm covering the planet. As Charlotte said, it was a dull gray mass that looked terrifying. T1 and T2 interstellar ships can enter the atmosphere because they are small, but T3 ships usually avoid going inside the planet. Doing so would greatly reduce their combat effectiveness and consume a lot of energy. But now, Zhaochun had no other choice. Enter the atmosphere and prepare for battle, Zhao Chun ordered. The T-3 Blizzard opened fire with all its guns, killing many insects and clearing a path straight toward the planet. The scene was as spectacular as a comet about to hit a planet. Report: multiple T-1 insect hive motherships are approaching our starship, along with many T-1 flying insects and T-2 spear snakes. Also, the first wave of insect swarms outside the planet will arrive in 10 minutes, the crew reported. Charlotte immediately began deploying the battle plan. 50 interstellar drones start launching to clear the ground insect units. 4 2,500 mm medium electromagnetic main guns, 16 medium pulse laser secondary guns, and 72 medium close defense guns will attack freely. After the orders were given, a hatch appeared on the underside of the T-3 Blizzard ship. 50 interstellar drones, already prepared, hung inside. These drones looked like upside-down bats. When the hatch opened, they fell freely, spread their wings mid-air, and unfolded into their full form, then began attacking the ground insect units. Meanwhile, the starship's main guns, secondary guns, and close defense guns kept firing at the surrounding insects, preventing them from approaching the blizzard. As for the distant T-1 hive motherships, any that dared to enter the range of the T-3 Blizzard's main guns would face only one fate. They would become a kind of insect fireworks. Altitude 20,000 kilometers, 15,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers. As the ship approached the ground, Zhao Chun could see the towering mountains below with his eyes. He could also see the distant city lights and the traces of starships crashing to the ground. The entire land was covered in flames and scars from battle. Altitude 5,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers. Zhao Chun saw a T-3 starship on a mountain ridge, glowing with starfire. That was the light from the fierce battle, and he could see groups of ground insect units rushing toward the starship. Although the starship had fallen to the ground, some of its weapons were still usable. It seemed the crew inside was controlling these weapons, using the starship as a fortress to defend against the insect attacks. There were also some figures holding handheld weapons and the silhouettes of battle robots. That should be the right spot. Zhao Chun looked at the precise coordinates on the star map radar. It's that point. Commander, can we send a shuttle to rescue the trapped personnel? Charlotte asked for approval. How many people can all our shuttles bring back? Zhao Chun inquired. We have only 6 small shuttles on the starship, and in the maximum capacity, they can carry about 60 people, Lilith replied nearby. That means rescuing just one group isn't enough. At least one round trip is needed. The whole rescue process would take at least 5 to 10 minutes. Our Storm Snow is equipped with T-2 Black Knight-class light star combat robots, right? Zhao Chun confirmed with Charlotte. Charlotte nodded. In the Storm Snow's hangar, there are 3 robot combat teams, a total of 15 T-2 Black Knights. By the end of March, after completing some construction plans, Zhao Chun had instructed Charlotte to build a few T-2 Black Knights. They weren't expensive, each costing only 10,000 star coins. The finished T-2 Black Knights were naturally assigned first to the T-3 Storm Snow. Deploy these T-2 Black Knights to ground to cover the retreat, Zhao Chun said as he stood up. Prepare a set of personal exoskeleton combat armor for me. I will lead the ground evacuation mission. No way. Charlotte and Lilith almost spoke at the same time. Charlotte, with a serious expression, stepped in front of Zhao Chun. You're the fleet commander. You can't leave the starship. It's too dangerous outside. Dangerous? Zhao Chun chuckled. He pointed outside and asked, are there enemy T-3 units out there? No. Charlotte replied instinctively, not understanding why the commander asked. Currently, the strongest insectoid units detected outside are only T-2 level. Then I'm not in danger. You stay here and command the starship's battle, Zhao Chun said. Seeing Charlotte still wanting to stop him, he quickly moved, almost instantly appearing behind her. His speed was so fast that even the half-orc Charlotte couldn't react. Then she was lifted off the ground, her legs leaving the floor. Zhao Chun held her by the back of her neck and placed her on the captain's chair, as if she had lost the ability to resist. Stay here and wait honestly. I will be back soon. After saying that, Zhao Chun left the bridge. Charlotte and Lilith exchanged a helpless look. The only thing they could do now was to remind the mech team to ensure the safety of the commander. But from the commander's skill just now, self-defense shouldn't be a problem. However, Where did the commander get such agile skills? Charlotte gently touched the back of her neck, feeling a strange sensation when she was just grabbed. Zhao Chen stepped onto the glass elevator, heading to the hangar where the mechs were parked. At the same time, he opened a timed mission given by the system. Mission: use your own strength to kill bugs within the given time. Difficulty: sea level reward. For each kill within the time, 1, 10, 100, 1000. The reward depends on the final number of kills. Time limit: 10 minutes. This is why Zhao Chun has to go in person. He confirmed with the system that it couldn't be completed using starship weapons. Even piloting a battle mech wouldn't work. The only usable weapons are personal firearms and exoskeleton combat armor. Although it might be dangerous, Zhao Chun must complete any system mission that appears to quickly improve his strength and earn rewards. 1 minute later, a figure dressed in full black personal exoskeleton combat armor appeared in front of a row of ready T2 Black Knights. Reporting to the commander, Black Knight Team 1 is assembled. Please give your instructions. Reporting to the commander, Black Knight Team 2 is assembled. Please give your instructions. Reporting to the commander, Zhao Chun glanced over. 15 female soldiers in combat uniforms were already ready. Stop the chatter, get ready to go. The 15 mech pilots immediately entered their respective mechs. Just as the leader of Team 1 closed her hatch, she heard sounds outside the mech. When she opened the visual display, she was surprised to see the commander standing on her mech's shoulder. Commander, what are you going to do? I'm going down with you, Zhao Chen replied. The team leader was stunned and quickly said, this is too dangerous. You should take the shuttle down instead. At this moment, the hatch was already open and a strong rush of air poured into the cabin. However, Zhao Chun remained steady, standing firmly on the shoulder of the Black Knight mech. From his position, he could see the mountains below and the battlefield surrounding the spaceship. You're about 500 meters above the ground. If your mech jumps down, will it break? Someone asked. The mech definitely won't break, the squad leader instinctively replied. Zhao Chen smiled and patted the mech's head. If it won't break, then just jump. But, Commander, the squad leader was still worried about Zhao Chen's safety. Stop talking nonsense. If I tell you to jump, then jump. It's an order, Zhao Chen said impatiently, kicking the mech's head. His hormones were raging now, almost out of control. He looked at the bugs below, as if they were adorable little creatures blowing kisses at him. Zhao Chen licked his lips, calming his restless heart. The squad leader had no choice but to operate the mech to walk to the edge of the hatch. While giving orders to his team, he also commanded the Black Knight to leap down, keeping a close eye on Zhao Chen on his shoulder. Wow, this is so exciting, Zhao Chen shouted involuntarily from his high perch on the mech, 500 meters above the ground. Report, the swarm of bugs is approaching us. Our firepower isn't enough to suppress them. At 8 o'clock, we see thousands of bugs. The communication channel was noisy, with messages coming in one after another. Sulan took off her headset and looked at the battlefield before her. The corpses of the bugs had piled up over a meter high, and a strange, foul smell filled the air. It's the smell of bug blood. Senior Sister Sulan, my small laser cannon only has 15% energy left. Shui Xiaoxiao was operating a small laser turret outside the ship. Due to a system malfunction, after a quick fix, she could manually activate the small laser cannon at the turret. Our laser guns are also running out of energy. Zhao Wanner, holding a laser rifle, fired at the bugs rushing from beyond the line of defense. One bug after another exploded, splattering green liquid that even splashed onto the teachers and students still fighting in the battle. Fortunately, these juices are not corrosive, they just have a bad smell. Hang in there a little longer. Just now, Teacher Qin said that they detected a starship signal from the nearby star system, possibly coming to rescue us. Unfortunately, due to communication failure, the contact was lost. The engineers are working on repairing the communication equipment, Sister Sulan encouraged. Something's wrong. The defense line at 8 o'clock has fallen. Suddenly, a message came. Everyone, including Sister Sulan, looked shocked and scared. They managed to hold on so far because they had a strong defense line, using this fallen starship as a fortress to block the attacking bugs. If one part of the defense falls, it almost means the entire line will collapse. And the result of being close to the bugs is easy to imagine. Sister Sulan jumped to a high spot, looking toward the 8 o'clock direction. The starship cannons there had already fallen silent for various reasons, and a huge number of bugs had appeared, overwhelming the defense and rushing into the line. One student saw the bugs rushing toward him and panicked, dropping his weapon and trying to run into the starship. But his speed couldn't match the bugs. Soon, a bug about half a meter tall pounced on him, biting him to the ground, causing severe pain in his leg. "Help! Help me!" the student shouted and struggled. A laser shot over, hitting the bug and knocking it away, allowing the student to escape. "Fight like a man and pick up your weapon," the male teacher who saved the student shouted angrily. The student nodded foolishly. In the next second, a bug suddenly attacked the teacher, tearing a piece of flesh from his body with its terrifying mouthparts. "Get away, you bugs!" The teacher endured the pain and used his laser gun to blast the bug into pieces. But in the next moment, more bugs attacked him. 3, 5, 10. The gunfire that was still there quickly stopped. The student looked terrified and started running toward the starship behind him, ignoring everything. Behind him, more teachers and students were knocked down and eaten by the bugs. The area was filled with screams. The noise even reached the defenses in 3 other directions. "It's over. Completely over." A student next to Su Lan sank to the ground, lost and hopeless, with no desire to fight anymore. Su Lan's expression was complicated. She wanted to say something encouraging, but in this situation, she felt words were useless. "Senior Sister Su Lan, is Xiao Xiao going to die?" Shui Xiao Xiao stood on the artillery platform, trembling with fear. Zhao Wan'er held a laser gun at the front line, determinedly saying, "Maybe we will die today, but as students of the Northern Star Academy, future starship captains, we will fight to the end." Wan'er is right. As long as we have tried our best, we have no regrets. Even if we face death, we can hold our heads high, Senior Sister Su Lan said bravely. Although they spoke like this, their eyes showed unwillingness and a strong desire to live. They were young, full of life, and had not yet begun their journey into space. How could they be willing to die here? Those bugs. Xiao Xiao still has a future to become a T4 starship captain. I can't die here," Shui Xiao Xiao shouted with tears in her voice, aiming her small laser cannon at a cluster of bugs and firing. The bug carcasses splattered far and wide, but it was insignificant in the big picture. Just as despair was beginning to fill the hearts of all the teachers and students, above the clouds, a starship broke through the sky at incredible speed, plunging downward. "Look, what is that?" Some students pointed at the starship in the sky, surprised and excited. "Is it our rescue fleet? We're saved. We're saved. Strange. Why is there only one starship?" The joy swept away the despair from everyone's hearts. They could see the starship firing at the alien bugs in the sky. The bugs fell one after another like fiery balls. At the same time, dozens of unknown star drones swooped down, attacking the bugs around the wrecked starship base. The machine gun fire turned the bugs into fragments. One star drone just flew past Su Lan and the others, smashing the bugs that were about to reach their defensive line. Despite this, the swarm of bugs around continued to shrink the area's perimeter. "Everyone hold on. We can still survive," Zhao Wan'er shouted confidently, firing her laser gun non-stop. "Take this." Shui Xiao Xiao wiped tears from her eyes and fired in one direction. Just then, the ground suddenly shook. A giant bug burst out from beneath the defensive line, followed by many more bugs. They were only a few meters away from Zhao Wan'er and the others. "Oh, it's a bug tunnel. Quickly throw the magnetic storm grenade," Sister Su Lan exclaimed. "We've already used all the magnetic storm grenades," Zhao Wan'er replied, firing at the bug tunnel, but the giant worm-like bug lunged toward her. "Warning, warning, weapon energy low. Please reload energy cells," the system announced. At that moment, Zhao Wan'er's laser gun ran out of power and could no longer fire. "Wan'er, run!" Sister Su Lan suddenly rushed forward, pulling Zhao Wan'er behind her, while she herself stood in front of the giant bug. Zhao Wan'er's eyes widened as she watched Sister Su Lan's body about to be swallowed by the bug, fearing she would be lost. Suddenly, a huge black figure descended from the sky. The giant bug was crushed underfoot. Sister Su Lan fell to the ground, staring blankly at the black giant before her. It was a black mech suit she had never seen before. A teasing yet familiar voice came from the black mech. You're having such a fun party. How could I not join? On the mech's shoulder, a man wearing a sleek black combat exoskeleton helmet appeared, smiling casually as he looked down at them. Sister Sulan and the others looked at the man in shock. It was Zhao Chun. They never expected to see him here. Mech Squad, suppress the surrounding bugs and cover the retreat. Zhao Chun ordered the 3 mech squads. The 3 squads formed a triangle defensive line, protecting the area around the spaceship wreckage. The appearance of these 15 black mechs suddenly changed the battlefield situation. The T-2 Black Knight-class light interstellar combat mech carried 2 36-barrel Gatling-style laser cannons that constantly emitted blue light. The lasers shot at the bugs, tearing them apart into pools of flesh on the ground. One large bug, about the size of a car, lunged at the T-2 Black Knight with a fierce bite. The mech pilot inside the T-2 Black Knight calmly activated the missile system. A small missile shot out from the launcher on the back of the mech and, guided precisely, hit the bug accurately. After a big explosion, half of the bug's head fell in front of the T-2 Black Knight. Thanks to the powerful firepower of the T-2 Black Knight, the previously collapsing defenses of the students and teachers on both sides were now eased. The bug swarm's attack was suppressed. Zhao Chun jumped down from his T-2 Black Knight and walked over to Zhao Wanner, who looked dazed. He gently touched her messy hair. "Don't be afraid. I'm here." These simple 5 words made Zhao Wanner suddenly feel overwhelmed with sadness and emotion. "Wah, I thought I was going to die," Zhao Wanner cried, her voice trembling, no longer pretending to be strong like she usually was around Zhao Chun. "All right, don't cry now. When we get back, you can cry as much as you want. I'll get a basin ready for you," Zhao Chun said, tapping Zhao Wanner's head. Zhao Wanner stuck out her tongue, controlled her emotions, and finally managed a small smile for the first time in days. "Senior Sister Sulan, my starship will take you all to evacuate. The shuttle will land soon. Please have the students and teachers inside the starship hurry and evacuate here." Zhao Chun looked at Senior Sister Sulan and gave her the order. At the same time, 6 small shuttles, protected by interstellar drones, flew out from the hangar of the T-3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battleship and were about to land. "Okay, I'll handle it right away." Senior Sister Sulan immediately started contacting the crew inside the starship, telling them to evacuate immediately. "Everyone stay here and don't run around," Zhao Chun warned his sister. "What are you going to do?" Zhao Wanner looked at her brother with concern. Zhao Chun smiled and said, "Such an exciting party. Of course I have to say hello to those cute little guys before I leave. After all, they made my lovely sister cry." Hearing Zhao Chun's teasing words, Zhao Wanner blushed. At that moment, a single soldier weapon box was dropped from the sky. It was prepared for Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun walked over and opened the weapon box. Inside, there were more than 10 different weapons and equipment. Without hesitation, Zhao Chun chose a big weapon because he liked large ones. It took up about a third of the space in the box. It was a 9-barrel Gatling-style heavy machine gun, weighing an astonishing 1,000 kilograms. Usually, several soldiers worked together to use it, fixing it to the ground as a fixed fire point. Even soldiers wearing exoskeleton combat armor can't easily carry this weapon alone into battle. But right now, Zhao Chun picked it up with both hands, and behind him, there was a half-human-sized intelligent ammunition box. At this moment, from the wormhole where the giant bug had been crushed earlier, many smaller bugs swarmed out. "Come on, little babies. Try Uncle's big guy," Zhao Chun sneered as he pulled the trigger. In the next second, the powerful recoil hit Zhao Chun's body. If an Imperial soldier were here, their arms would probably go numb in just 3 seconds, let alone holding this huge weapon and firing continuously. But Zhao Chun remained steady as a rock, letting the gun pour bullets. This weapon used solid bullets. Solid bullets are not as easy to carry as energy bullets, but because they contain high explosive materials inside, their power is much greater than laser guns. And the most important point is, the firing rate is incredibly fast. In just a few seconds, all the bugs swarming out of the hole were turned into meat paste by Zhao Chun's bullets. Ding! You have successfully completed the task of killing 1 bug. Ding! Task updated. You have successfully completed the task of killing 10 bugs. Soon, no more bugs crawled out of the wormhole. Zhao Chun turned his focus to the swarm outside the defensive line, a wild smile on his face. The barrage of projectiles continued to fall like rain, with shell casings dropping to the side and piling up into a small mountain. Ding, mission updated. You have successfully completed the task of killing 100 bugs. Soon, the task was completed again. Watch out, Zhao Wan'er suddenly shouted from behind. A bug, which had somehow sneaked up beside Zhao Chun, suddenly jumped out and lunged toward his head. Its sharp teeth could have bitten his head like a deflated basketball if it had succeeded. But Zhao Chun was calm. He leaned his upper body back, relying on his strong core muscles, and tilted his entire upper body backward, facing the sky, steady and balanced. Such a powerful waist. Shui Xiaoxiao noticed Zhao Chen's posture and swallowed nervously. The bug had just jumped to the height of Zhao Chen's head, but now it was right at the level of his gun barrel. Surprised, Zhao Chen looked at the bug and blinked. Then he aimed his Gatling gun at the bug and opened fire. In a burst of continuous shooting, the bug trying to attack Zhao Chun was quickly torn apart, its body badly damaged. Zhao Chen sneered and kept attacking the swarm of bugs in front of him. After injecting the T3 Super Soldier Serum, he felt his senses greatly enhanced. He could sense even the slightest movement around him. When the bug approached, he noticed it immediately. As Zhao Chun kept firing, the half-human-sized ammunition box soon indicated that the bullets were running low. Not exciting enough, Zhao Chun said with a shrug. He threw the Gatling gun aside. Because Zhao Chun stopped firing, a few bugs thought they saw an opportunity and immediately lunged at him. Facing the approaching bugs, Zhao Chun didn't dodge or evade. Instead, he reached out his hand. He caught one bug's head right in midair, and then, like an apple being crushed, the bug's juices splattered onto Zhao Chen's exoskeleton armor. Zhao Chen remained calm, as if he had just crushed an apple. Zhao Chen quickly crushed several bugs trying to get close, smashing their heads like fruit. The students behind him were all frightened by this scene. Zhao Chen looked at the weapon box, took out a rocket launcher, which was already loaded with 5 rockets. He then spotted a few large bugs in the distance and immediately fired the rockets. Explosive fireballs appeared, and the explosions quickly hid the targets. The surrounding bugs were also caught in the blasts, suffering heavy casualties. Next, Zhao Chen showed off his weapon skills, using every weapon in the box. Under such fierce firepower, Zhao Chen alone killed hundreds of bugs. At this moment, 6 shuttles landed beside the wrecked starship, and their doors opened. Quick, get on the ship and evacuate. A female soldier in a powered exoskeleton armor jumped down from one of the shuttles and began organizing Shui Xiaoxiao and others to leave. Zhao Chen heard her voice and frowned, turning to look at her. Chu Xian, the female soldier, removed her helmet, revealing Chu Xian's face. What's wrong? Zhao Chen stepped forward and pointed at Chu Xian. Why did you come down? I'm a soldier. I should do what I can. And you didn't say I couldn't come down, Chu Xian said confidently, winking at Zhao Chun. Not to mention, Chu Xian, dressed in a female-style powered exoskeleton armor, looked quite unique. Since Chu Xian had already come down without permission, Zhao Chen didn't have time to scold her. He pointed to Zhao Wan'er and Shui Xiaoxiao and ordered, you two, immediately take the students and faculty onto the shuttle. Evacuate to the starship first. Priority for the injured and girls. What about you? Zhao Wan'er looked at Zhao Chen worriedly. Zhao Chen pointed at the people pouring out of the wrecked starship. There aren't enough shuttles to evacuate everyone. I will stay here to organize the defense. Seeing Zhao Wan'er's worried expression, Zhao Chen instinctively wanted to reach out and pat her head, but his armored hand was covered in bug juice, so he had to withdraw it disappointed. Go ahead, I'll be there soon, Zhao Chen said. Zhao Wan'er hesitated for a moment, then nodded firmly. Ignoring the bug juice on his armor, she punched her fists and said, Brother, I'll wait for you on the starship. Then she turned around to help carry the injured onto the shuttle. The shuttle, now fully loaded with personnel, took off again and returned to the starship. The remaining teachers and students from the 2 academies continued to wait at their original location for the next evacuation opportunity. Commander, a large number of cocoon bugs are falling from the sky toward your position. The starship can only intercept some of them. Please be very careful. At this moment, the warning from the bridge of the T3 Storm Blizzard-class light interstellar battleship sounded in Zhao Chen's ears. Zhao Chen looked up at the sky. In the clouds on the other side of the storm blizzard, round, flesh-colored cocoons seemed to fall like meteors, emerging from the clouds. They were heading toward the wreckage of the starship where Zhao Chun and others were. Mecha Squad, watch the sky, Zhao Chun warned through the communication channel. Black Knight First Squad, understood. Use missiles to intercept. Black Knight Second. The Black Knight Mecha Squad noticed the incoming flesh-colored cocoon bugs in the sky. Their missiles launched simultaneously to intercept the falling cocoons. Explosions burst in the air, and the fragments from the destroyed cocoons rained down like drops of blood around the wreckage, even landing on the faces of the teachers and students. Some students felt sick at the sight. The combat power of these interstellar battle mechs is terrifying. A teacher who studied interstellar battle mechs observed these unfamiliar mech designs and was shocked by their fighting strength. With such firepower, they are comparable to a small T-1 starship destroyer. Although due to their size, their ammunition capacity is less than that of a starship. But they already surpass most known T-2 light interstellar battle mechs. Another teacher exclaimed in amazement. While they marveled at these black interstellar battle mechs, which seemed like divine soldiers saving them, a loud bang came from the starship wreck behind them, and the hull armor was dented inward. It was a flesh-colored cocoon bug that had not been intercepted. The cocoon suddenly unfolded, revealing several long legs, resembling a spider, with a long, fong-filled mouthpart at the front. This is a T-2 ground combat unit of the interstellar insect race, the bug spider. An elderly professor shouted in fear. At this moment, after the T-2 insect spider finished spreading its body, it immediately searched for a target. It quickly locked onto a female teacher and lunged with its large mouth to bite her. Meanwhile, around them, the T-2 Black Knight-class light starship combat exoskeletons were fighting. They couldn't support her quickly, and if they launched missiles, they might harm the students and teachers near the wreckage of the starship. Teacher Chin, Sister Su Lan shouted in alarm. Teacher Chin kept firing her laser gun, but its weak firepower couldn't the T-2 insect spider's armor. Suddenly, a figure stepped in front of Teacher Chin. Teacher Chin looked surprised at the man dressed in a soldier exoskeleton combat suit. She remembered what Sister Su Lan said earlier, that he was a student from the Northern Star Starship Military Academy, here to save them. Zhao Chun, be careful. That's a T-2 insect spider. Its armor can't be broken by normal weapons, Sister Su Lan yelled. If weapons can't break through, then try fists. In the next second, Zhao Chun threw a punch at lightning speed, so fast that almost everyone could only see a blur. A sound like metal breaking echoed. The students and teachers stared in shock at the man in the soldier exoskeleton suit. His fist had pierced through the T-2 insect spider's head armor, with half his arm embedded inside. The T-2 insect spider twitched violently, green fluid flowing from its mouth and wounds. Not very tough, Zhao Chun said disappointedly as he twisted the spider's head off like a ball and tossed it aside. It happened to land right at the feet of a boy, who screamed and jumped up. He was caught in a princess carry by another boy, and they looked at each other in surprise. At that moment, the ground beneath Zhao Chun started to shake, like an earthquake. Be careful. There's a bug digging underground, Teacher Chin shouted instinctively. But soon, a professor yelled in fear, This isn't just an underground movement. Something big is below us. Suddenly, a giant horn appeared under the foot of a T-2 Black Knight. The horn struck the knight hard, knocking it into the air, and it crashed heavily to the ground. Later, a huge beast about 20 to 30 meters tall appeared in front of everyone. It looked like a giant beetle. The size of the T-2 Black Knight was small compared to this creature. That is a T-3 ground combat unit of the insect race, a T-3 Thunder Beast. Everyone looked at this massive creature, which was almost as big as a small T-1 starship. They all felt like they were under a heavy mountain. Reminder, the pilot of the second squad's Black Knight mech is unconscious, came a voice from the communication system. Zhao Qin glanced at the Thunder Beast and ran toward the T-2 Black Knight light starship mech that had been attacked and whose pilot was now unconscious. He tried to open the hatch, but it wouldn't open. It must have been the heavy hit earlier that caused the hatch to deform and get stuck, said Chu Xian, who had also come over. She didn't know when she arrived. At this moment, the Thunder Beast was approaching, seeming to see the mech as its prey. Black Knight's second squad, support immediately. ordered the bridge of the T-3 Blizzard-class light starship cruiser, which was watching the ground battle closely. Right now, the first and third squads of Black Knights were fighting many swarms of insects. Moving them slightly might not be enough to control the overwhelming insects. Coincidentally, at this moment, dozens of T2 insect spiders fell in the direction of the Black Knight second squad. Charlotte, on the bridge, frowned. There were too many of these bugs, as if they would never run out. But the T-3 Blizzard starship's weapons couldn't fire directly at the ground because of the risk. The power was too strong, and firing might accidentally harm Zhao Chun and others. The safety of the commander was the top priority. Just as Charlotte was about to order the Black Knight teams to protect the commander first, Zhao Chen's voice came through the communication channel. "Leave this Thunder Beast to me. You continue your mission." After saying this, Zhao Chun pressed his hand again on the hatch of the T2 Black Knight. This time, he wasn't trying to open it, but was forcefully trying to pry the hatch open. Click, click. Chu Xian looked surprised as she watched the transforming and twisting mech hatch door. She also saw Zhao Chun, whose neck veins were bulging with effort. What kind of monster strength is this? He actually managed to tear open the mech with his hands? Although Chu Xian hadn't seen this model before, she immediately recognized it as a T2 mech. A piece of the hatch flew out like a dagger and stabbed into a distant bug's body. The bug struggled a few times and then stopped moving. Huh. Zhao Chen panted heavily. This mech hatch door was really hard to tear open. Now that the hatch was open, they could see the female crew member inside the cockpit, unconscious. Blood was coming from her head, probably from a recent hit, which caused her to faint. Fortunately, she was not in life danger. Zhao Chen carried the female crew member out and handed her to Chu Xian. "Here, it's yours now." What about you?" Chu Xian sensed that Zhao Chun had some plan. The next moment, Zhao Chen climbed into the T2 Black Knight. Luckily, the cockpit was spacious enough. His personal exoskeleton combat armor fit inside, though it was a bit uncomfortable. Zhao Chen started up the mech again. The mech performed a self-check. Apart from some serious damage to the armor and missing back armor, everything else was normal. It could still fight. "Good thing I learned a bit about mech driving before," Zhao Chun said with a nearly crazy look. He was staring at the now very close Thunder Beast. He immediately controlled the Black Knight and launched all remaining small missiles. The missiles exploded on the Thunder Beast's surface, creating blood holes. But it was clear this Thunder Beast had strong defenses. These few missiles couldn't kill it. The Thunder Beast was angered. It roared and charged at Zhao Chen's mech, each step like an earthquake. Zhao Chun raised his laser cannon. A barrage of bright laser fire hit the Thunder Beast, but its tough insect armor made the attack less effective. Seeing the Thunder Beast about to reach him, Zhao Chun decisively removed 2 laser cannons and activated the only melee weapon on the T2 Black Knight, the Black Knight's energy sword. A black obsidian-colored sword shot out from the armor of the T2 Black Knight. Zhao Chun operated the T2 Black Knight toward the Thunder Beast quickly, like a brave warrior rushing at a wild animal. Behind, teachers and students from both colleges watched nervously. Sulan clenched her fists, biting her lower lip, worried about a man for the first time. Half a minute later, there was a loud thud. The Thunder Beast's head fell to the ground, and its remaining body drooped weakly to the side. The black starship armor was covered in green liquid, and it slowly returned to the defensive line. A few steps later, it collapsed onto the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. Cough, cough, cough. Zhao Chun crawled out from the large hole torn in his back. The T2 Black Knight was too badly damaged to fight anymore. "Commander, the second batch of shuttles is ready to land. Please prepare to evacuate immediately." At this moment, Zhao Chun received good news. 6 returning shuttles landed again. "Sulan, hurry and lead everyone to evacuate," Zhao Chun shouted. Sulan had been staring blankly at Zhao Chen's figure, but hearing his voice, she snapped out of her daze and began organizing the second group to leave. Soon, almost all 6 shuttles were full of people, but about 50 or 60 remained on the ground. They needed one more shuttle trip. "Chu Xian, Sulan, you 2 go on first," Zhao Chen told Chu Xian and Sulan to board the shuttle first. But both shook their heads firmly. Sulan said determinedly, "I want to be the last to leave." Chu Xian raised her head confidently. "I am an imperial soldier. The teachers and students haven't all evacuated yet. I can't leave now. Seeing their stubbornness, Zhao Qin didn't argue further. Black Knight Armor Team, tighten your defenses. Hold on for 3 more minutes, then we can retreat. Zhao Qin shouted over the communication channel. Commander, there are too many bugs around. We can handle the big ones, but the small bugs are everywhere and very troublesome, said the armor team leader. Leave the small bugs to me. You guys focus on the big ones, Zhao Qin replied, glancing around. He saw a thick steel pipe among the wreckage of the starship and pulled it down. Tearing apart a T-3 starship with his hands, Zhao Qin might be the first to do so. All of you hide in this area, understand? Zhao Qin told Chu Xian, Su Lan, and the last group of teachers and students to hide in a corner. This corner was next to the wreckage of the spaceship, with only one small opening, making it easy to defend and hard to attack. Zhao Qin stood alone at the opening, holding a steel pipe. He glanced at his level C mission. Eliminate bugs. 829. Time limit. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. He was still a bit short of 1,000 bugs. Come a little more, little ones. I haven't had enough fun yet. Zhao Qin's eyes showed a hint of wild excitement. A few minutes later, all the teachers and students looked at the figure in front of them with awe. Dead bugs covered the ground around his feet. The special metal steel pipe he held, used for building spaceships, was deformed after hundreds of swings and heavy hits. A bug's body was hanging from the pipe. It was hard to believe what they had just seen. That man, facing dozens of bugs, used the steel pipe like a suit of armor, knocking each bug dead, smashing their bodies with each strike. It looked as if he was killing poultry, not bugs. Teacher Qin swallowed hard. He noticed that the man had faced nearly 30 bugs at once, including a few T2 spider-like bugs. All of them had become corpses at his feet. Is this the legendary Gene Warrior? Could he have undergone genetic modification by the Empire? A student asked cautiously. A professor with a complex expression replied, the Empire's research on Gene Warriors is still at the T2 stage. They can fight bugs alone, but only under certain conditions. This person's fighting ability has already far surpassed the level of the Empire's Gene Warriors. Why is he so strong? Someone asked, puzzled. A professor specializing in interstellar civilization muttered, the only possibility is that he's a hybrid. He might have genes from some powerful interstellar species known for their combat skills, like the interstellar soldiers of the half-beast race, whose physical strength is far beyond ours. Rumor has it that some can even punch through the armor of T1 starships. No matter how many guesses they have now, all they feel is shock. Zhao Qin brushed off the broken flesh on his steel pipe and looked at the exoskeleton armor on his left hand, which was already cracked. During the fight earlier, relying only on the steel pipe was not enough, so he sometimes just punched with his left fist. It seems that under his punch, the exoskeleton armor is almost unable to withstand the damage. Ding, mission updated. You have successfully completed the task of killing 1,000 bugs. The time limit for the mission has expired. Please claim your reward. That task requirement has finally been met with 1,000 bugs. As for the 10,000 bugs level, Zhao Qin doesn't even dare to think about it. It's not that he can't defeat them. It's just that by then, he might be exhausted and unable to continue. Right now, Zhao Qin doesn't have time to claim the reward. He can only set it aside for now. Commander, the third batch of shuttles has arrived. Please evacuate immediately. Lily's voice came through the communication channel. Zhao Qin let out a breath of relief. He finally made it this far. He looked at the 6 shuttles landing for the 3rd time. He quickly called out to the students and teachers behind him, who were frozen in place, even unaware that the shuttles had landed. Get on board and evacuate now. Hearing Zhao Qin's call, the students and teachers finally reacted and hurriedly started boarding the shuttles to leave. Zhao Qin, along with Su Lan, Chu Xian, and others, boarded one of the shuttles. After loading everyone, the shuttle immediately took off and returned to the starship hangar in space. On the ground, 14 T2 Black Knight-class light starfighter mechs also received the order to retreat. They activated their rocket thrusters on their backs and feet, leaping into the air. They followed the shuttle back to the T3 Blizzard-class light star cruiser. With the retreat of these T2 Black Knights, the wreckage of the starship on the ground was quickly covered by a dark swarm of bugs. Su Lan looked out the window at the scene of the bug swarm below and felt a chill run down her spine. If Zhao Chun hadn't appeared like a divine soldier to help, they might have already fallen completely and become food for those bugs. Are you Zhao Chun? Thank you very much for coming to rescue us this time. Teacher Qin looked at Zhao Chun gratefully and spoke up. Zhao Chun looked at Teacher Qin in front of him, but didn't recognize her. This is our team leader from the North Star Academy, part of the Two-House Interstellar mission. If Teacher Qin hadn't been organizing our desperate resistance these past few days, we might not have received your rescue at all, Su Lan introduced. Hearing that this female teacher was leading the defense, Zhao Chun nodded politely. He admired her courage to keep fighting in such a tough situation. How many starships has our academy sent? Are they all outside the planet? An old professor asked nearby. Academy? No, the only support ship here is mine, Zhao Chun replied straightforwardly. Everyone in the cabin was stunned by his words. Just one ship? That's impossible. Outside, there are swarms of bugs and bug hive starships. How can just one starship get through? The old professor questioned. But I did get through, Zhao Chun said lazily, not bothering to explain further. Chu Xian spoke beside him, saying, Indeed, Zhao Chun only has one starship. The academy did consider coming to help you, but it will take some time. Hearing Chu Xian's words, everyone understood what she meant. In fact, they had already been abandoned by the academy. Their eyes looked a little disappointed. Zhao Chun, I really want to thank you, Teacher Qin said again, her tone more sincere this time. She didn't know how Zhao Chun managed to single-handedly break through the swarm with just one starship to rescue them, but at least he did it. Zhao Chun didn't reply. If it weren't for his sister and the system's mission, he wouldn't care about the lives of these students and teachers. If anyone should be grateful, it should be the system for saving their lives. Soon, the shuttle entered the hangar, and the door opened. Outside, the two groups of students and teachers from the two houses, who had arrived earlier, were all standing or sitting in corners, their faces showing relief after surviving. When Zhao Wan'er saw the shuttle returning, she kept her eyes on each door, searching for that figure. Finally, when she saw him, she happily waved her arms. Zhao Chun waved at Zhao Wan'er. Just as he was about to go over, the communication channel buzzed with a message from the bridge. Commander, please come to the bridge immediately. I have an important message to report to you. In the communication channel, Zhao Chun heard Charlotte's voice and looked very serious. Without hesitation, Zhao Chun quickly took off his personal exoskeleton combat armor, which was almost broken. He then hurried outside. Student Zhao Chun, Teacher Qin initially wanted to discuss evacuation plans with him. Since they only had one starship for rescue, leaving would be a big challenge. But when she reached the door of this cabin, two female crew members with laser guns blocked her way. Sorry, your activity is now limited to this cabin, the female crew members said seriously. Teacher Qin looked a bit embarrassed and turned back. After all, this was someone else's starship, and they had to follow their rules. Fortunately, this cabin was a hangar for shuttles, with plenty of space. It was enough to accommodate all the teachers and students. Look, what is that outside? One student, who was lying near a small porthole at the edge of the cabin, suddenly exclaimed. They wanted to see the planet they had just been on. Teacher Qin and the others immediately moved closer. Right now, the starship they were on was leaving the planet and flying out of the atmosphere. Outside, besides the familiar starry universe, there were some dark shapes in the distance. That's T3 Hive Mother ship, and there are 3 of them, a teacher with sharp eyesight shouted. 3 T3 Hive Mother ships. Hearing this, all the teachers and students were again filled with panic. Were they just escaping from one danger only to fall into another? Were they destined to die in the Shui Lian star system? They had seen the terror of the T3 Hive Mother ship before. Their fleet had been attacked by a swarm led by these ships and suffered heavy losses. T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battleship. Bridge Zhao Chun entered the bridge, where Lily and Charlotte were waiting for him. So, 3 T3 Hive Mother ships are coming, right? Zhao Chun had already learned the basic situation on his way here. He knew that 3 T3 Hive Mother ships were attacking. Zhao Chun sat on the captain's chair, and Lilith raised her hand to summon a holographic image of the interstellar battlefield. This holographic battlefield image can zoom into any area, view from any angle, and even enlarge the models of the enemies. Of course, this requires that the enemy's energy signals must be stored as individual samples, in the database or have been previously scanned and recorded. In the holographic battlefield, the T3 storm blizzard is located outside the planet, while nearby is a fleet of Hive Mother ships. The fleet is dark and dense, giving a feeling of an impending storm. Lilith raised both hands and made a gesture to enlarge the Hive Mother ship fleet image. Soon, the fleet appeared closer, as if right in front of Zhao Chen's eyes. Several colored boxes appeared next to the ships. The blue boxes represent T1 Hive Mother ships, the green boxes are T2, and the red boxes are T3. There are also detailed data next to the images. T3 Hive Mother ships, 3. T2 Hive Mother ships, 15. T1 Hive Mother ships, 310. The number is already comparable to a standard interstellar fleet of a military unit, Zhao Chen muttered. According to the standard fleet sizes of the Galactic Alliance, 30 starships form a small interstellar fleet. 300 starships form a regiment-level fleet. 3,000 starships form a legion-level fleet. However, size does not necessarily mean strength. If your fleet is all T1 and T2 starships, even a legion-level fleet, a small fleet made entirely of T3 starships could wipe you out. Quantity and quality are both essential in interstellar warfare. T1 and T2 Hive Mother ships are not a threat. The key is those 3 T3 Hive Mother ships. Zhao Chen looked at the holographic battlefield and asked, "Can we avoid the fight?" The current mission is still to retreat. Even if they destroy all these Hive Mother ships here, Zhao Chen has no time or energy to gather the spoils. Based on our system simulation, the T2 and T1 Hive Mother ships are manageable. However, the 3 T3 insect Hive Mother ships are present, blocking our best escape route and forming a semicircular encirclement. Our T3 Blizzard enters Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode, which includes an acceleration phase. They are very likely to attack us during this time. If we are careless and our ship modules are damaged, it will affect our subsequent escape, Lilith replied, based on data analyzed from the Starship system. Zhao Chen looked at Charlotte. "So, we only have one choice, right?" Charlotte raised her hand and brought up the Starship data for the T3 Blizzard. The star shield energy remaining is 92%. There are 43 star drones left and 45 light star missiles remaining, with 93% of ammunition resources left. Given the current situation, we are not afraid to fight. As long as we destroy those 3 T3 insect Hive Mother ships, we can leave safely, Deputy Captain Charlotte said firmly. Zhao Chen smiled and looked at the 3 T3 insect Hive Mother ships on the screen, sitting in the captain's chair with his legs crossed and one hand under his chin. "Then we fight one battle and leave." "It's up to you, Deputy Captain Charlotte." Deputy Captain Charlotte straightened up, ready for battle. "Understood, Commander." Then, she began issuing a series of combat orders on the bridge. Increase speed to 150 knots, heading toward the insect Hive Mother ships. Charge the main cannon of the Blizzard-class heavy cluster laser ship. Deploy star drones and the ship. All remaining combat modules, listen for commands at any time. Speed increased to 150 knots, heading / complete, called the navigation crew. 43 Blizzard star drones are being deployed. Deployment complete, reported the Star Drone Module Officer. The 4-star missile launchers are ready. Complete. Press the button for the star missile launchers. The 4-star missile launch doors on the T3 Blizzard opened again, and 4 Blizzard Light Star missiles were ready to fire. The Blizzard-class heavy cluster laser ship's main cannon is charging. It will take 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28. The officer in charge of the main cannon operated the controls. The bow cannon of the T3 Storm Blizzard began to glow with a blue light, as countless blue particle projectiles gathered at the muzzle, shining brighter and brighter. Main battle module of the starship's main gun. Ready. Secondary battle module of the starship. Ready. Close-range defense module of the starship. Ready. The crew members responsible for the other starship weapon modules shouted in unison. On the surface of the T3 Storm Blizzard, the main guns, secondary guns, and close-range defense guns all aimed in the same direction, ready to fire. In 30 seconds, my ship will enter the attack range of the enemy Hive Mothership, Lilith said nearby. In the holographic star battlefield in front of Zhao Chun, the The projection representing the T3 storm blizzard was steadily approaching the projection of the Hive mothership fleet. Zhao Chun watched everything from an overhead view, as if watching a sci-fi movie. At this moment, Zhao Chun couldn't help but marvel at how different the T3 quasi-military starship's performance was compared to the T2-level starships. Suddenly, Zhao Chun saw countless swarms of insects rushing out from the Hive motherships, creating a scene like a locust swarm. Meanwhile, on the data panel, the numbers representing the insect units kept rising. The T1 flying insects, which started with only tens of thousands, quickly increased to hundreds of thousands, and within seconds, reached several million, with the numbers still climbing. The number of T2 spines also kept increasing, from 1,000 to 3,000, then 5,000, and finally reaching 10,000. Besides these, two new boxes appeared on the screen. T3 self-destructing beetles. T3 corrupted alien dragons. The T3 self-destructing beetles and T3 corrupted alien dragons are both insect units bred and raised by the T3 Hive mothership. The T3 self-destructing beetle is about the size of an adult human and has weak combat power, even less than the T1 flying insects. However, it has a remarkable trait. That is, it can self-destruct. The power of its self-destruction is enough to punch a large hole in the armor of a T2 starship, posing a serious threat to T3-level starships. At the same time, its self-destruction consumes a large amount of energy from the star shield. It is easy to imagine what would happen if over 100 self-destructing beetles attacked a starship and exploded nearby. Fortunately, the number of T3 self-destructing beetles is very small. One T3 Hive mothership can only produce between 100 and 300 of these beetles at a time. Most of these beetles are in a dormant state inside the hive. You could say that when they are awakened, it is time for them to carry out their doomed mission. A T3 self-destructing beetle usually does not survive more than half an hour, perhaps because of concerns that they might go out of control and destroy the mother ship. They are kept in check. The T3 corrupted alien dragon is a mutated evolution of the T2 assassin snake. Its size is 10 times that of a T2 assassin snake, with 2 pairs of wings, and its body is comparable to a small starship. It can fly in space and has the ability to quickly attack over short distances. Its mouth can spray a high concentration of biological sulfuric acid, with a medium range and very fast-firing speed. If a T3 corrupted alien dragon breaches the starship's armor, it will release a shocking number of insect eggs into the ship's compartments. These eggs hatch into many T1 mutant insects. These T1 insects quickly invade all parts of the starship, and the liquid they spray is highly corrosive and disrupts electromagnetic signals. At this moment, these terrifying swarms of insects seem like giant open mouths from the abyss, sweeping across the front of the T3 Storm-class light starship in all directions, trying to swallow this tiny prey. Report: enemy flying units will be the first to enter our attack range. The crew reported. Main gun and secondary gun remain on standby. The secondary guns will target the T3 insect units with precision strikes. The close-in weapons fire at full capacity to intercept the swarm. The starship's drones are now in defensive automatic combat mode, Charlotte ordered. Zhao Chun stared at the holographic image, which looked like a game scene. The model representing the T3 Storm class was already firing. Large groups of T1 flying insects in the front were being shattered one after another. The 72 medium close-in guns on the T3 Storm were constantly firing, creating a barrage of bullets. Due to the dense insect swarm, each shot could often kill several T1 flying insects at once. A medium pulse laser turret rotated and locked onto a swarm of insects, then fired. A beam of laser shot out, piercing through dozens of T1 flyers before striking a hidden T3 explosive beetle with precision. Because T3 explosive beetles were fragile, they usually needed other insect units to cover them, often hiding within the swarm. Another laser fired, this time hitting a T3 corrupted dragon, tearing a large hole through its body. Meanwhile, the star drones continued their relentless on the swarm. In just a few seconds, the T3 blizzard had already destroyed thousands of insect units, and the number kept rising. Even so, the swarm pressed forward without fear, drawing closer and closer to the T3 blizzard. Some T-2 Hydralisks had already begun spitting venom at the starship. Fortunately, the T-3 Blizzard's frontal star shield blocked the attacks. Report: one enemy T-3 Hive mothership and 4 T-2 Hive motherships have entered the range of our bow cannon and main guns, a crew member reported. Charlotte gave the order without hesitation. Fire. The Blizzard-class heavy cluster laser cannon, charged and ready, unleashed a massive blue energy beam. Wherever the beam passed, T-3 corrupted dragons, T-3 explosive beetles, T-2 hydralisks, and T-1 flyers were all reduced to ash. Unlike the pulse laser, the cluster laser delivered continuous fire. From the outside, one could see the T-3 Blizzard's bow cannon pouring out energy non-stop, the blue beam tearing a path through the dark swarm until it revealed its true target. A T-3 Hive mothership. Zhao Chun watched as the cluster laser struck directly against the thick armor of the mothership's head. Though no sound could be heard in space, Zhao Chun felt as if he could hear the violent impact echoing in his mind. The first strike of the cluster laser did not destroy the T-3 Hive mothership instantly. Instead, it kept hammering against its heavy armor. Similar to starships, the insect race only became truly militarized starting from their T-3 units. The T-3 Hive mothership does not have a star shield like the T-3 interstellar battleship, but it has developed a very terrifying biological armor. The average strength of this armor in each area is dozens of times higher than that of the T-3 battleship's armor. At the same time, the T-3 Hive mothership is dozens of times larger than the T-2 Hive mothership. A T-3 level interstellar battleship looks tiny compared to it, like a small grape in front of a watermelon. If Zhao Chun now uses a T-3 Blizzard to crash into a T-3 Hive mothership, it might not be the one with torn armor and injuries. Inside the hangar of the T-3